timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Before you fly, take a trip to your local MVD office or authorized third-party provider with your required documents and get the new AZ Travel ID with the Gold Star for your new driver's license or ID. Starting May 2025, this new AZ Travel ID gets you through TSA security checkpoints. It's quick and easy. Think of it as your license to fly. Learn how to get your new ID at aztravelid.com. Sponsored by ADOT in partnership with the Arizona Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, everybody, it's Mark Asher, back to tell you about my great friends at the Lund Mortgage Team. Did you know that the Lund Mortgage Team was founded back in 1999? That's right. They're celebrating 25 years in existence this year. And you know what you have to do to stay in business that long? You have to be good at what you do. And the Lund Mortgage Team is not just good, they are great. They have helped thousands of people save thousands of dollars over those 25 years here in the Valley of the Sun. They only lend in Arizona. And they're mortgage brokers, which means they can shop your rate around. They're not tied to just one set of rates. Mortgage rates can get crazy. They can get high. They can get low. There's good times to strike and there's times to stay on the sideline. Let the Lund Mortgage Team be your coach, be your team leader when it comes to these huge decisions. Call 623-875-9940. That's 623-875-9940, or you can always check them out at lundmortgage.com. Great website with all the tools you need. Call them today. They're my great friends, and you'll love them. It's the Lund Mortgage Team.
Steve Jurich here. After working in financial services for over 20 years, I've finally confirmed what investors really want, including me. And it's simple. All they're asking for is 20% annual return with no risk and 100% liquidity. Here's the problem. A money market is safe and liquid, but offers almost zero yield. Mutual funds and ETFs are liquid with upside potential, but aren't safe. A carefully selected next-generation index annuity through IQ Wealth may offer 10% ample liquidity, principal protection, and a lifetime income yield potentially double to triple that of quality bonds. By yielding more income using fewer dollars, our system allocates more money for you for capital growth. It's a winning combination.
Call leading annuity authority Steve Jurich now, 480-902-3333. Guarantees rely on the claims paying ability of the insurer, so compare with Steve, 480-902-3333. Call Steve now.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM. Wherever you go, take us along. Listen to our live stream on our free Fanatic app. Download it today.
Quiet, people, settle down. Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
Hi, everybody. It's Monday here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside not Randy White. He is taking pre-scheduled time off. None of your business. Anyway, Keon Rose is here, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And a lot of stuff happened over the weekend. We're going to talk about all of it. I mean, not all of it. I'm sure there's some stuff we won't talk about, but I figure most of it, some of it, a few things, like very little. We're going to talk very little about anything that we're not talking about anything that happened this weekend. We're going to just look forward.
Oh, okay, but there was like a lot of sports stuff that happened this weekend, and one of those things is a basketball thing, and there's not going to be more basketball for another couple of days.
Well, I'm against it, but I guess Keon's going to be a baby about it if we don't talk about everything that happened during the weekend. So, okay, fine. But I'm going to talk about one thing that did happen today, and that was Dan Hurley saying, don't want to be a Laker. Now, I'm just going to say this once, Keon. I told you so.
Well,
you did not believe that Dan Hurley would rather be a made man on a college campus for $32.1 million in a 6-year deal than take $70 million from the Lakers and over what was that supposed to be for 70 million? Was that wasn't 10 years, was it?
It wasn't 10 years now. It was like 7.
Yeah, okay. So it's either 10 million from them or
6 or 7. So.
Yeah, less to stay with the college, but he's a made man. And I bet they're going to give him even more money someday. But right now, he just likes being a big man on that campus. And, looking at the Lakers, first off, 70 million. That's not what Monty got.
Well,
you
no,
think that played
no,
into it?
well, but Monty's getting 10 mil a year. So no, it's not playing into it at all.
So this
Dan
would've
Hurley would have
made
been
him-
one of the top 5 coaches in terms of pay.
Well, would it
annually.
make him the top? Because Monty's the top. And if this tops out his yearly, then this would have made Dan Hurley the highest paid coach.
For a guy who's never coached an NBA game in his life?
Mhm.
You don't have to be the top if you're in the top 3 or 3 to 5. I don't know exactly what all the numbers would be, but you'd be in that same department with Greg Popovich and Eric Spoelstra with the money that they were promising him. So, but also I didn't know what Dan Hurley was going to do. You asked me why would he leave, and I told you.
No, I asked why he would go there. The Lakers,
Yeah,
what a bleep show they've been in the way they have done business over the last 5 to 10 years.
But
I know they're in-season tournament champions. That ain't a small thing.
That's got to mean something. I don't know exactly what it means or what purpose it could possibly serve, but it should.
The Lakers' job is not an attractive job because LeBron is there, because Jeannie Buss is there, because the formula isn't right. So yeah, he's looking over there going, "Oh, gee whiz, I don't know." So not everybody is about the money. You thought for sure he'd be like, "Boom, take that money. I'm an NBA head coach." And that's what I'm going to do. I said that Dan Hurley, who was sitting on a pretty sweet gig, they'll never fire him. He won 2 championships in a row. They will never fire this man.
I understand that. You said he would never leave, and I said that's.
There's nothing. Remember saying never.
You look. I didn't make any prediction as to what Dan Hurley was going to do. The answer to that question, if you'd asked me then, was I don't know. But you asked why would he leave? And I gave you the reason.
He's a made man.
Because there's you wouldn't have to recruit, which is the biggest headache. If you look at a bunch of the coaches that we've seen retire recently, including the young Jay Wright at Villanova. I mean, the guy's 62. He had plenty more time coaching in him. He just the headache. A lot of guys don't like it and don't want it. And then the money is just flat out guaranteed. And if you flame out in LA because the situation isn't right, teams will throw themselves at you to get a chance to get you back in college. Like it's not gonna make you look so bad that you can't recover from it and get back to pretty much where you were.
Gotta be embarrassing for the Lakers. Now that I'm looking at both terms on both deals, Dan Hurley decided to take less than half what they offered him.
Yeah,
to not leave.
To not leave, and
that's got to be embarrassing for the Lakers.
It does look bad on the Lakers because Dan was clearly considered the offer. Otherwise, he would never have gone out to LA for that interview. If he really decided UConn was where he wanted to be and he never wavered, he would have just stayed in UConn and said no.
Yeah, but you know they're going to wine and dine him and fly him on the company jet. He tried his turn. He's like, I'm just going to go because it'll be fun.
I mean, maybe people do that too, but the fact is, like, there was some consideration about this, and he still said no. So if you're the Lakers, you now need to look in the mirror and go, why is it that somebody said no to us with all of our money and our resources and our finances? And we also have the location in LA, which, if you have a lot of money, is a pretty nice place to live.
Now, what do the Lakers do? Do they go with Borrego? Do they go with JJ Redick? I mean, and those two guys are going to be like, oh, okay. So now you want me.
Well,
okay.
I don't know that JJ Redick gets to complain very much. They're the only team looking at him for a head coaching position, so like I understand that there is a level with, Borrego where you're like, I don't necessarily want to be second place, but it's either that if you want a head coaching job or not, this is your chance right here. But it's going to be a headache of a situation regardless.
This makes the Lakers look so damn bad. And
they do look bad. Their situation is not good. And you also have to take into account the part of this where people keep pinning a lot of things on LeBron. Can the Lakers make LeBron happy? Look, LeBron, if he's on the team, is going to show up and play. I'm worried about Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis will be there. he will collect the paycheck from you, and then he will just not show up for games if he's just mentally checked out. That's the guy I worry most about keeping happy. And I don't know what coach does that, to be honest. I can't tell you what option is available for them.
Dan Hurley turned down more money than he was, but 38 extra $1 million.
It doesn't.
He's going to make 32 million. He turned down 38 extra $1 million to not be a Laker.
Doesn't say anything good about where that franchise is right now.
Oh my God.
If they believe that they can be a championship team in that building, I think it's going to be pretty obvious from the way coaches and coaching prospects are treating them that outside of that building, nobody sees them that way.
So the one thing that I thought was curious is you think, okay, well, maybe old Danny Hurley's trying to leverage this conversation with the Lakers in his negotiations with UConn. Well, UConn, has offered him more money already, evidently. And so he's in the middle of that $32 million deal that they did back in 22. But I guess the conversation was UConn said, hey, stay with us and we'll get you some more money. So it'll be interesting to see what did UConn do to keep Dan Hurley. Do we have any reports on what this offer has been? Because when they started talking, Hurley says, hey, I just want you guys to know up front that we've already gotten an offer from UConn, and that would make me the highest paid NCAA coach. So I guess the first question is, who is the most highest paid NCAA coach, to give us an idea of what the range might be, at least by a yearly amount. And they're going to continue talks. So Dan Hurley loses some of his leverage with UConn by turning down the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Because he can't threaten like, well, I'm going to leave and go to the Lakers if you guys don't do more money for me.
Yeah, and they don't have the money, of course, that an NBA team is going to have. Highest paid coach in college basketball right now is Bill Self at Kansas. He's at like $9.5 million, just short of 10 a year. Then you got John Calipari at number 2. He's at $8.5 million. Tom Izzo at Michigan State at 3. He's just a little over $6 million a year. And then, you're rounding out the top 5 with Bruce Pearl at $5.7 million and Rick Barnes at Tennessee with $5.7 million as well. So that's the range there. So like, unless you are just like Bill Self is the made man we're talking about when you talk about what Dan Hurley could be.
He's got 2 championships in a row. He's a made man. We just haven't seen the numbers yet.
Yeah, but I'm saying Bill Self won a lot of his championships with Kansas early. It hasn't been much of that recently, but he's the highest paid guy in college basketball because he stayed the entire time. That's where Dan Hurley would like to be, I imagine, down the road.
By the way, what the hell kind of last name is Self anyway? I've been meaning to ask that question. Just haven't got around to it.
I don't know where the last name comes from.
Hi, my name is Bob Self.
Somebody's gonna, have the historical breakdown of what the word was that what his family name means. I couldn't tell you, man. I have no idea.
I'd like you to meet Larry Group. We also have we have
Johnny Solo and
we have Sally Meeting right here, but this is Mr. Self. Okay. I just never understood that name. Anyway, so Dan Hurley stays with UConn, middle finger to the Lakers, take that money and shove it where the sun doesn't shine. So the big question is going to be, how much money is Hurley going to get from UConn to make it worth his while? Because it wouldn't take much. It wouldn't take much, I guess, for him to. That's a good question. So if he's in the middle of a fresh deal with UConn for $32 million, he can quit that, but they can't quit him. I mean, is that money guaranteed?
Yeah, I mean the money is guaranteed, but if he quits it, he doesn't get the money.
I know that.
But if they
there's
fire
no
him,
penalty for him for leaving.
Not really, no.
Okay. My point is, if he doesn't like what UConn does, he can always say, I'll see you next season, Lakers.
He could, if they would still hire him a year from now, if they're still this desperate.
Feel like they will be.
If they find a coach who's doing a good job, given that they have struggled to find exactly that.
That is not their strong point.
It's just like, that you're not going to sit there and try and offer the same amount of money to Dan Hurley next year if you're not as desperate next year.
Mm-hmm.
Like if LeBron leaves, there's no reason to offer all that money. Like you just because now you're trying to rebuild.
Let's go to the text line. Randy's not here, so we don't. Do you have a Burning Hell's Lakers song?
I might.
Do you have that available?
I might have that. Let's see what we can do.
We need it pretty quick because the Tom says Hurley just told the LA Lakers to burn in hell. Hit the music, says the Tom.
Okay.
Well, that's perfect.
Lovely.
That song just burned in hell.
Lakers, burn in hell, Lakers. Shut the hell up, Ralph.
Yeah, he says, seriously, this is actually a rejection of LeBron.
I don't know that is necessarily the case.
Again, it's more a rejection of the Lakers and the way they are. They're probably just bumping in. It was probably like an episode of Faulty Towers when Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka hosted Dan Hurley. And, if you've never seen the TV show Faulty Towers, trust me, if you have, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, well, what the hell's wrong with you? It's classic John Cleese comedy. You should go watch it. Silver Pop says, good afternoon, guys. Happy Monday. Well, I guess Hurley told the Lakers to burn in hell. Everybody wants to hear that song. You might as well play it again. Burn in hell, Lakers.
Burn in hell, Lakers. Burn in hell, Lakers. Shut the hell up, Ralph.
Yeah, he says it makes him feel the warm and fuzzies all over. I do too. I love seeing bad things happen to the Lakers.
And it's not just because people are saying it's like him saying no to LeBron. There's a whole group of things you're saying no to when you say no to the Lakers. What does the future of that team even look like? Like after LeBron, because this is a contract for 6 years. LeBron's not going to be there 6 years from now. So you're sitting there going, hey, am I going to be coaching a team that's going to be hopeless and they're going to blame me, in 3 or 4 years? And I don't even have any way to make this team better. There's not going to be anything for me to elevate. And that's before you get to the other part of, again, Anthony Davis has a lot of say in what goes on in that building as well. He's the other person making a boatload of cash. He's the other superstar on the team. Anthony Davis and his opinions are huge, especially since Anthony Davis does have a tendency, when he doesn't like the coach, to just not really be there mentally.
Ralph Has Crabs says, ironic that Ralph's not on the show today. Wonder how Ralph is feeling today about his Lakers. I did invite him, but he said he was too busy. So I'm sure he's just going to sit there and point at all the trophies and on the rings and all the stuff. And it'll be the same old tired response from Ralph about the Lakers.
You can just imagine what he's going to say.
But in real life,
basically,
he's hurting inside. Which also makes me a little happy when it comes to the Lakers. Yeah. Let's see. Killer Rabbit. What did you? Oh, he sent me something. When people send me pictures, it also messes up the computer. I'll come back to you, Killer Rabbit. Big George is on the text line, and that's going to take forever to load. So we're going to move on here to Pierre. Hello, Keon. Hello, Randy. Jeffrey. Randy's not here. He says it is a beautiful day here in Montreal. The temperature is only 17 degrees Celsius today. What the hell is that in real temperature? Oh, jeez. So
now we have to Google translate the temperature. Thanks, Pierre. Appreciate that.
Degrees.
The extra work.
He says it's what do you say? 17 degrees Celsius. I got my thing. 17, 62.5 degrees. That's not bad. He says he's rooting for the Florida Panthers against the Dirt in Edmonton.
Oh. Tell us how you really feel.
Called them Dirt. All right. There's worse things you can call somebody. Dirt. Oh, by the way, Dan Hurley says burn in hell, Lakers, but the Lakers said burn in hell, Darvin Ham, and he did something different. He did not get a job as a coach somewhere else. He got a job as an assistant. He's moved to the Milwaukee Bucks to be Doc Rivers' top assistant. Which did they work together before?
I don't think they worked together before, but I do think Darvin Ham's been in Milwaukee before. So in a way, he's kind of going back to a place he's pretty familiar with as far as how things work inside that building.
Big George says, happy Monday. He says, Dan Hurley pulling a Mike Krasinski, told the LA Lakers to pound sand, stay in college. Jeffrey was right again. Damn, it must hurt being right all the time. I'm right about this. Keon's right about stuff more often. I just really enjoy it when I get one right. I just do.
That was a good prediction.
Thank you. Lost Toby says, rest in peace, Randy. Well, he's not resting. He's out doing stuff that's none of your business. But,
What?
Yeah. Fifth letter. Okay, here comes some Laker hate. What I mean is not hate of Lakers, but hate from a Laker fan. Fifth letter says, listen here, dweebs.
Okay. That's a start.
He says, stop worrying about what the fluff we're doing. Start worrying about what the fluff you're doing. Suns have their own issues to worry about. Yeah, well, we got a coach.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. The Suns have their own issues, and we will discuss those issues in time. But, right now we're talking about the team that currently doesn't have a coach.
Mm-hmm.
The only one in basketball to not have a coach right now.
Hook'em Hottie says, happy Monday. Not Lakers related, but if Boomer Sooner's listening, oh, yeah, by the way, we found out he's alive. He says, congrats to your softball team, Boomer Sooner. OU beat Texas to win a national title for the fourth time in a row. Didn't we talk about that last week?
We did.
That happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
Hook'em Hottie, are you from the past?
No,
have you found a portal?
Maybe she heard the podcast before and wanted to congratulate Boomer Sooner today.
I don't think she listens to a podcast.
I don't know.
She's a live radio kind of gal.
I was just offering a potential explanation. I don't know.
I think she's found a portal from the past.
That's also an explanation. I would argue less likely, but
shun the non-believer. Just remembered I got to change my name on the dumb camera thing. There we go. Listen, there's a bunch of people who want to text and have some things to say about the Lakers not getting their man. And then other things as well. Come on back, kids. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NHL Stanley Cup Finals continuing tonight. The Florida Panthers hosting the Edmonton Oilers. It is Game 2. Florida leading the series after capturing Game 1 Saturday with a 3-0 score. Florida minus a goal and a half plus 180 on the puck line. Edmonton getting a goal and a half minus 235 on the money line. Florida minus 135. Edmonton plus 115. The over-under goal total tonight sits at 5.5. Major League Baseball, the Diamondbacks back in action on Tuesday as they start a series with the Los Angeles Angels in Phoenix. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Hey, everybody, it's Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends at the Lund Mortgage Team. Did you know that the Lund Mortgage Team was founded back in 1999? That's right. They're celebrating 25 years in existence this year. And you know what you have to do to stay in business that long? You have to be good at what you do. And the Lund Mortgage Team is not just good, they are great. They have helped thousands of people save thousands of dollars over those 25 years here in the Valley of the Sun. They only lend in Arizona. And they're mortgage brokers, which means they can shop your rate around. They're not tied to just one set of rates. Mortgage rates can get crazy. They can get high. They can get low. There's good times to strike and there's times to stay on the sideline. Let the Lund Mortgage Team be your coach, be your team leader when it comes to these huge decisions. Call 623-875-9940. That's 623-875-9940, or you can always check them out at lundmortgage.com. Great website with all the tools you need. Call them today. They're my great friends, and you'll love them. It's the Lund Mortgage Team.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight, and all the wagertainment you need. Plus, hopefully, we win a couple bets along the way. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Join myself and Nick Costos and tune into You Better You Bet. Weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. So, okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I'm going to be at my best today. I am hurting. I'm hurting and I'm tired. I was fighting with replacing a pool pump this weekend. So like every couple of years, I'm fighting with this thing, and it's always during the summer. Nothing ever breaks down when it's cool outside. But a lot of lifting, a lot of squatting, a lot of like this is like a 50-pound thing, and I'm like, no. It all went together. I gotta be honest with you. For all the projects that I have done, this was, well, I don't know if it was because of my work in the past. I don't know if it was because I really pre-planned this thing out and had every angle covered. If this happened, I'll do this. If that happened, but it worked. I did a thing, and not one drop of water is leaking out of it. I put it together, and it worked. Here's the thing, Kiana, you've heard this term: measure twice, cut once.
Yeah, my dad used to tell me that all the time.
I measured twice, and I thought about things, and I researched things, and then when I was falling asleep the night before, I kept thinking about the thing. I went to Home Depot, bought things for every contingency, and then I measured 2 more times. And boop, there it is. It all works. And the only thing is, I think my new pool pump motor is maybe not as strong as the old one. I think it's going to work, but I don't know. So it's one of those things where you put something together and it works perfectly and there's no problems anymore. And you're like, now I got to go back to Home Depot and return all this stuff. And it took me like 3 hours of work,
but it's done.
And I'm just suspicious.
Do you trust it? Yeah, that's the question.
So I wake up this morning, and I did this yesterday morning. I wake up this morning, my inner thighs are burning. Oh, crap. Here comes the moist one. My inner thighs are just tired and burning. My arms for the lifting and all that stuff. It's like I feel like I've just had a complete body workout. And so I have a headache and I'm tired. So I'm not going to be quite right today for the show, but pretty damn pleased with myself.
I think you should be.
I'm just a little damn pleased with myself.
You can be handy around the house. I don't know why you wouldn't be.
I'm just saying. I mean, like 2 years ago, I had to replace this whole setup, and that motor only lasted like 1 year and 3 quarters. So I got mad. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to cut the whole thing out. I'm going to redo it my way. And that's what I did this weekend. So that, I wouldn't rely on that stupid motor anymore. I put in a whole new system. And now with the new system, if something dies, it's easier to just pull one piece out, put the other piece back in. So it was also work for the future. And I got a 4-year damn warranty on this thing.
Very nice.
I got the insurance on it. I'm just like, I ain't screwing around. I'm tired of dropping $250 every time something happens. So yeah, I am pretty pleased with myself. Don't feel like I got nearly enough credit for it. As a man, you're like, well, we do it because it's the right thing to do. But every now and then a parade would be nice.
It would be pretty good. Yeah.
Maybe if somebody noticed the hard work. We're like, just saying. But so yeah, the pool is good to go now, and I just don't know what to think. I just don't know what to think.
Well, I hope it holds up for you.
I know. I'm just like, now that I've said this on the air, I may have jinxed it. It's just kind of like when you jinx a game, you jinx a team. I may have jinxed that pool.
I hope not.
If it explodes or something happens, I'm gonna fill the pool in with dirt
and then retire it.
Never again.
What's the point?
I'll just put Jello in there or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but it did just. I'm so sick to death of it. Anyway, by the way, today's National Iced Tea Day. Don't know if you know. Now it's iced tea with a D. I thought it was always just iced tea. Why does there have to be a D? Iced.
The icing it is a verb. I don't know.
Say I'm gonna have a nice iced drink.
You can.
It's my iced soda. It's soda with ice in it. This is iced tea. I don't know. I'm not gonna argue.
I guess because you can also have tea hot, and I guess to separate it.
It's not heated tea. You don't say I'm gonna have me some heated tea.
Well, because the hot tea is the normal state of tea.
Why is there an ED on iced?
Well, that I can't answer to you. I don't know.
It has ED.
Yeah, well, that's true. They should call it to doctor.
So National Iced Tea Day. Do you remember when they invented tea? Do you remember what century this was?
What century? Fourth?
No. Actually, they put an actual date on it, 2737 BC.
No.
Chinese are the ones who invented the tea. And then it was in the 1800s. Somebody's like, we could make this cold because now we've got these newfangled refrigerators and stuff. And then back then in the 1800s, every tea was a Long Island iced tea. That was heavily spiked with booze. Mm-hmm. And then in 1876, there's Thomas Lipton shows up, and he opens up a shop. This is in Glasgow. And then after that, iced tea hit the World Fair in St. Louis in 1904. And everybody's like, holy crap, iced tea. Oh, this is amazing. I don't like it.
Really?
No, I don't like iced tea. I did enjoy a couple Long Island iced teas once. So I was pissed off about something. So I met up with some friends at a restaurant, and they're like, here, try this. I'm like, what's this? Just drink it. Blah, blah, blah. That's a Long Island iced tea. I'm like, oh, I've heard of these. They will F you up.
Yes.
They will F you up fast.
Because they just taste like juice. Like they just go
right.
It's too smooth. It goes down way too easily. There's no way to detect the alcohol in it at all.
There's no tea. It doesn't taste like tea. So I just boom, drank it. And I was like, what frou crap are you making me drink? And I slammed them fast. I was like, oh,
it's dangerous.
I feel that.
That is dangerous.
For someone dead inside, I feel that. Anyways, let's go back to the text line. People are still talking about the fact that the loser Lakers could not get themselves a coach. And we're all here for it. We're enjoying it. Oh, look, the fifth letter, though, he's not enjoying it. And he says, I'm joking about the dweebs part. He says, I love you guys. We tolerate you. Fifth. I can't say I love you. I can't say it back. He says, it's all love, man. It's all love, fellas. I just had to throw that jab in there. Fifth letter, you've never apologized. You've never apologized in the past about your Laker love and yelling at us and stuff. Why would you do it now?
Yeah, but Fifth Letter is just not the guy that really goes after like Suns fans for the Sun.
No, he does. I can scroll back and find tons of it.
He's just usually been pretty.
Just out of nowhere, he says, "Hey, Suns blew a 3-1 lead. Anything can happen." See what I'm saying? No, he is.
I guess
he's that guy.
Right. Then I don't know. You don't have to apologize, Fifth Letter. It's just sports, man.
I love you, but I'm not in love with you.
I think that's implied.
Yeah. The Tom says Lakers may have the season in-season banner, but if the Mavs don't wake up, the Celtics are to get number 18 and be all-time championships winners. How is Wreck-It Ralph going to spend that?
He won't. He'll be very sad about it.
Yeah, but he'll tell us we can't say anything. We can't say anything.
Yeah, but just know that no matter what he says you can't say, he's still hurting inside.
Yes.
That's the only thing that matters.
And that's worth the price of admission. Silver Pop says, oh, Jeffrey, I forgot to add, suck it, Ralph. So could you politely please tell him this and his in-season championship to suck it, Ralph? First chance I get, I will tell him, suck it, Ralph. Silver Pops. And
Pass
I'll
that along
say
for you.
from Silver Pops. Lost Toby says, is blunder not a commonly used word? I used it and was looked at like I was stupid. Well, who looked at you like you were stupid? I've used the word blunder quite a bit.
In what context? Because I mean, it is a common word.
I love that word. I've said it all like usually it's when people do dumb things that says, yeah, and these idiots blundered in here and just started doing stuff. So it should be considered who looked at you like you were stupid? Because if they're stupid, that just means they don't know a lot of words.
Because blunder is not like there are fifth graders that know blunder. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Feel bad about using words that other people don't get. Navy Brad is on the text line. How you doing, Navy Brad? I still just can't get over how cute your dog is. He just sent a picture. A German Shepherd. This is a cute dog too, by the way. This is a good-looking German Shepherd with a Mr. Bill doll. Oh no, Mr. Bill! That thing is gonna eat his head off, Brad. Here he says, "Hi everybody. I'll say LA teams just flat out suck. Stella and her new buddy, Mr. Bill, right here. Yep, that's a great picture, man. Big George says, "Damn it, those guys at the pool pump place." Well, no, I got my pool pump. I got my motor online. There's no one to yell at. I bought the motor. Actually, I had a whole thing last year before last. I bought a motor. I put it in, and it would run for 20 minutes and turn off because it would overheat and just shut itself off. I'm like, well, nope. So I sent that back, got another motor, and put that one in, and that lasted just 18, 19 months. So nobody yell at a shop. I had to put bad reviews on Amazon, and hopefully this next one will be better. Hamilton Porter says, and then in the 1900s, the South figured out how to empty an entire box of sugar into tea.
Yeah, that's they basically just decided that the tea doesn't count and isn't going to work for them unless you get diabetes at the first sip. That's the only way.
Yeah, tea doesn't taste good. I'll be honest. I don't like the taste of tea. I drink tea every day. I drink Assam tea, which is the highest octane caffeine black tea you can get. But I do it English style with milk, like about this much milk, and the rest is tea. And it really takes the edge off of that really harsh, bitter taste of tea. Outside of the fact that I'm trying to not be a fat bastard, or I'd just be drinking Mountain Dew every day, right? I used to for many years. But the tea, is my replacement. And yeah, I would need an entire box of sugar myself, if not for the milk. So I don't know if can you do iced tea with milk?
You probably could. I've never had that before, but I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. It would just have the sugar and the milk.
It's not the same when it gets cold. I don't know. Maybe I'll try that sometime.
Might taste a little milkshakeish. Maybe.
I mean, I have walked away and forgotten I'd had a tea sitting there, and I come back. Oh, I'm still drinking it because I need the caffeine. And I don't know. Beer Bob says, forget Long Island iced tea. You need to do a Long Beach. Basically, a Long Island iced tea, instead of Coke, you put cranberry juice in it. It's much better. I'll be honest, I had no idea the ingredients. Listen, I'm Irish. You say drink this, I'll start drinking it as long as it doesn't look frou-frou. This came in a very tall glass, and I was so like, I was seeing red. I was so mad. I sat down. They're like, here, drink this. Oh, fine. That's pretty good. Give me another one. I think it is Long Island iced tea, though. I never had it again after that, because then I was like, wait a second. Is that a frou-frou drink?
I don't know.
Is that a less than manly drink?
I don't have lines there. I don't draw any lines around alcohol. If it has it in there, I will drink it, and that's it. Those are my only rules. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I mean, if you need to get effed up real quick, Long Island iced tea is a good way to go. I don't know. I don't know if that's manly or not. Lost Toby says, well, it wasn't my girlfriend, and she wasn't in the car to hear that. Thanks, guys. I don't understand.
I'm not sure I follow Lost Toby. Not sure I follow.
He was asking if blunder was a commonly used word. He said, it wasn't my girlfriend, and she wasn't in the car to hear that. Thanks, guys.
I see.
Saying it was his girlfriend?
Is that, and are you saying she was in the car? Are you speaking to us in code, Lost Toby?
I feel like he's like showing us hand signals.
Lost Toby, blink if you're okay. It's radio, so I don't know what to do, man. I don't know what to do.
Navy Brad says his dog is not a German Shepherd. She's a Belgium Malinois. Okay. You know what a Belgian Malinois is? The dog that looks kind of like a German Shepherd. And everybody who sees your dog goes, oh, look at that little German Shepherd right there. So, but yeah, okay. Hook'em Hottie says, yes, you can put milk in iced tea. It's actually called milk tea, and Asian places make it all the time, especially Thai tea. But I could use Long Island right now. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Yeah, the Irish don't even tag with that line. We just drink. We don't feel like we need an excuse, and we're just like, oh, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Shut up. No, just shut up and drink. Just drink the alcohol. Life is hard enough. We don't care what time it is.
Yeah, I'm conscious, and that's pretty much a reason to drink right there.
That needs to be remedied. And quick. But she's a nice Southern lady, the Hook'em Hottie. So of course she has to have that little bit of dignity that my people do not have. 888-368-1580. So we've gone 2 segments, and we haven't even talked about the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. Possibly because this is not going well for them. And we're going to find it hard to be interested.
I mean, I'm still interested. The series feels like it's going
quickly and badly.
How I felt, which is game 1 wasn't great. That Boston dominated that one wire to wire, but
well, this one, the first half, it was going back and forth, but in the third quarter, similar things started to happen, didn't they?
It was like a 6-point game at the end, though. Like there was a couple of minutes left, and Dallas still had a chance to take that game.
Sure.
And they let it slip through their fingers on that. And I just think we're going to get some more close ones that end in Boston W's.
The similar things I'm referring to are the way the Mavericks were playing, who was hot, who was not, and the way they did things. And I don't understand why they're doing it the same way in the second game. I said this before the first game, and I'm going to say it now. Game 3 is everything. If Dallas comes out and kills it, you're like, okay, they could win both at home, and then this could end up being a 7-game series. If Dallas comes out less than kicking ass in game 3, it's over. It is just over.
Well, yeah, and
it will probably be a sweep.
I don't know if I can say it'll be a sweep. We might get the gentleman's sweep, but regardless, the series would be done at that point. This is not hockey. You go down 3-0, series is essentially over. No one's ever come back. It'll happen eventually, statistically, but it hasn't happened yet.
That's my prediction. If the Dallas Mavericks don't win game 3, it's a sweep. It will be a sweep. Because they have not had an answer. And you have to think in your head, Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic should be able to put a game together, right? They should be able to put a game together. If they don't do it in game 3, it's over. I don't even think a gentleman's sweep. I mean, listen, I'm riding high on being right about Dan Hurley. So if I'm wrong about this, I'm like, all right, Bells are right about Dan Hurley.
Yeah, look,
I've got that going for me for a minute.
There's so many issues I think that Dallas has to face. I think the biggest one is that Luka is going out there and giving them 30-point doubles, and he isn't guarding a human being on defense. He's just not a good defender, and he's just mentally, there's not another level for him to get to defensively. Like I've seen Kyrie lock in defensively, We haven't seen the offense from him yet, but the defense has been there. Luka's got to defend somebody. Like, just make it harder. He hasn't done that.
We've got to take a break. When we come back, more of your texts about Long Island iced teas and the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics, and we'll look at this a little bit closer when we return. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Will Shakespeare here. Back in my day, I invented over 1,700 slang words like swagger, bedazzled, and my personal favorite, besmirch. But even I have trouble understanding slang words like yeet or bougie or
This is fire.
actually, it is extremely smooth Shakespeare vodka.
Okay, boomer.
See what I mean? But there is one word that describes the pure quadruple distilled spirit crafted from an 8th century Polish recipe the first time you try it.
So lit.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Shakespeare vodka. So lit.
Hey guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Did you know Harman Solar has gone super high tech? There's an amazing tool at harmansolar.com that'll give you an instant ballpark solar estimate using satellites from space. You just type in a little information, and within seconds, you'll have an idea of just how little money it takes to save big on that monthly electric bill. I did it, and within seconds, they measured my roof and calculated my savings. It's very impressive. Go to harmansolar.com and give it a try yourself. That's harmansolar.com.
The Arizona primary election is coming up on July 30th, 2024. That means the deadline to register to vote for this election is July 1st. Every voter has ballot options to choose from. Based on your party affiliation, learn which ballot you can request. Just head to arizona.vote. That's arizona.vote or call 1-877-THE-VOTE. Make your vote count. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Secretary of State's office.
Attention all Arizona workers. You may be entitled to receive earned paid sick time. Every Arizona employer is responsible for keeping track of your hours and recording how much earned paid sick time is available under state law. Posters about paid sick time and minimum wage laws also need to be posted in every office. Get posters and learn more at azica.gov. That's azica.gov. This message is sponsored by the Industrial Commission of Arizona.
So, what's your favorite thing about sports? The excitement, the action, or the 5-meat pizza and the 6-pack?
Bingo.
That's what we thought. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Hey, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Taco Kenny says, Long Island iced tea is very manly. One will fluff you up, you mother fluffers. Okay, we're not doing that. But yes, one, it took two for me even to notice it personally. Lost Toby says, I told her if she wanted to hear my daily blunder, I didn't want to be the one to call her a fifth grader. So thanks, Keon.
Well, if you had let us know who laughed at you. Also, I didn't say anybody was a fifth grader. I just said fifth graders know the word blunder. That's all.
We don't call this show the Daily Blunder. That's not nice.
I don't think that's what was happening.
I think that's what he said. Oh. I told her if she wanted to hear my daily blunder. Well, what the hell, man?
I missed that bit. Don't know how to feel about that part.
Fifth letter says, hey, Keon, you know the Suns did blow a 3-1 lead.
It did happen.
In the finals. Let's not forget, fellas. Ha ha ha. We don't love you anymore. Hook Mahani says, shouldn't have given Kid that extension before the playoffs were even over. He's so lazy now. Not adjusting, not calling timeouts. Do you really think, Hook Mahani, that is why? He's just like, I got paid.
Yeah,
screw this.
Screw it.
It's the finals. Who cares?
Jason Kidd won a championship as a player with that team near the end of his career. I think he'd like to win him one as a coach. That'd be nice for him.
He won a championship with him. He gets to coach him. He was beating his wife while on that team. Those things are important to him. And I don't ever want anyone to forget that he beat his wife.
The championship is years and years removed from the first part, but yes.
He's always going to be a wife beater.
Well,
Every time he shows his face in the screen, wife beater. That's all I can think of. That's all I can think.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it wrong.
Wife beater. Navy Brad says, Jeffrey, for your pool pump. Oh, okay. I'm just tired that I did it, but he says, no, for your pool pump to make it last a long time, put a shade covering. I did. 2 years ago, I got like this thing that little house that goes over it. Now I'm thinking about maybe putting it over more of it because the shade thing I put over the motor, not the entirety of it. I was talking to my wife. I'm like, we could put a thing like a shade over that, but then a good gust of wind and then, it's gone. So I don't know. But that's good advice, Navy Brad. But I already did it. So everything on Amazon is Chinese, I think that might be an issue. Of course, you can't say that our quality is any better than Chinese quality. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. All I know is I didn't want to spend $1,000 for a Pentair motor. Now, over the course of how many years I end up spending the $1,000 anyway, right? Anyway,
I guess that's one way of looking at it.
So Baker Cocky Hen says, send Jason Kidd to the WNBA. He'd be right at home, beating ladies with every win. I feel like those ladies would beat his ass. So maybe you should send him there.
Because they'd hit back.
Piece of dirt. All right, so the Celtics, 7-point win over the Mavericks. Lucas says, I think my turnovers and my missed free throws cost us the game. Well, I mean, you could mathematically make a case for that, but that's not the entirety of that story, is it? Because if you'd made that free throw, if you had not caused that turnover, there's no guarantee the score at the end was going to be any other way. But I know as a player, you look at, well, how could I have done better? What could I have done to help us win? And so that's a fair thought process, and that's what you like to hear from your player. He says, I got to just do way better in those categories. He says, but at the end of the day, we got to make shots to win the game. So I think he's talking about the entirety of the Dallas Mavericks. So as far as making shots to win the game, is Kyrie Irving the biggest problem that they have right now, that he just can't seem to get into a groove?
Their offense relies on him and his ability to get to the basket and get them shots. Like the most important thing that you can have on a basketball team in the playoffs is a guy that can go get a bucket. And the Dallas Mavericks are built on the idea that they have two of those guys. And so far in this series, they only have one, and his name is Luka Doncic. Kyrie had a very bad first game. I do think he played better in the second game. The point totals look kind of similar, but I thought he took fewer bad shots. I thought he was forcing it from three a whole lot less, and he was trying to be a whole lot more aggressive going to the basket. And then the result is that even though he had some shots that I still think, you're 0 of 3 from three, those missed shots hurt. And I think a couple of those were open. He's just got to make them. I maybe playing in Dallas, getting away from Boston and that crowd that hates him and he knows they hate him. Maybe that's just in his head a little bit. Maybe getting back home might help him out a bunch, but he's going to have to start taking and making big shots. And Luka's doing it. Their whole team's built around the idea that Kyrie can do it too.
Donnie says 10 days ago, Reggie Miller and NBA media anointed the Mavs as having the best NBA backcourt of all time. Well, that's because they just whooped the ass out of your Timberwolves.
Yeah,
so comically easily.
And the Timberwolves were the number one
team. Your team made them look that way.
The Timberwolves are the number one defensive team in the league. So you couldn't necessarily fault them.
Your team blowing it gave them all the ammo they needed for that. And it's going to crack me up. If the Celtics sweep the Mavericks, who just about swept the Timberwolves, that just shows you how far behind your Timberwolves are.
But I don't even necessarily want to go there. I do
just to hurt Donnie.
Sure. But I do think that with Kyrie and Luka, that if you look at their playoff run together this season, you would have to rank this run up there with the all-time great backcourt performances. You kind of have to. What they were able to do in every series, not just the Minnesota one, has been incredible. And the fact that Kyrie is having some bad games, I don't know that takes all of that away. He's not all of a sudden like this. Not all of a sudden a horrible backcourt. Luka's doing his thing, And we know that there's more than basketball going on with what Kyrie is dealing with in Boston.
So Wednesday's the next time they play, right?
They play, yeah. Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm.
Randy's right. That's a lot of time in between games. Feels like it's too much time.
Yeah, it's a little too much time, but they're trying to stretch the whole thing out,
We're going to stretch it into
milking it.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
there's a whole bunch of talking in between that. So you're still talking about the NBA
I
between the
don't have
games.
much more to say about it until the next game.
I'm not saying that that's what I would do. I'm just that's the explanation I think for why they're doing it.
Well, it gives Kristaps Porzingis a chance to maybe heal up, get a little rest, and he had an injury with his right leg in the fourth quarter in game 2 there. They're like, hey, are you going to – he's like, no, I'll be there. He says, I'll die out there. I'm playing. So no matter what, he's playing.
I think he believes he's missed enough of the playoffs. I also think it'll give Luka some time to heal up too. Luka's right knee soreness has gotten worse. So I don't know that he's going to miss the next game either, but it is something to keep an eye on because he is the only offensive player right now who's really functioning at a high level. They don't have Luka. This thing is done. So Luka's got to be out there and playing well. I think the right knee, giving that some time to recover as well. You're at the end of a long season. Feels like too much time between games, but if we're going to get the healthiest version of these teams, I'd rather watch that.
He has no choice, Luka. He has no choice. He must play. Porzingis.
But I don't think Porzingis
could take a game off.
He could, but like that, I don't think he wants that hanging over his head.
Well, they could make him. If I'm coach of the Boston Celtics, I am thinking about sitting him out on the next game. Seriously,
I wouldn't because this is the NBA Finals, and if you have
he's injured and you've already got a 2-game lead.
Again, it would depend on what the doctors say. If the doctors are like, hey, like this is absolutely going to be destroyed if he plays, well, then obviously you don't play him. But if it's close, you have a 2-0 lead, get 3. Put them in the hole.
No, I agree.
Them. You're not guaranteed. Just because you're up 2-0 doesn't mean you're guaranteed a victory.
No, there's no guarantee, but there's a guarantee that he's not going to play well. I'd rather let him rest that and then win games 4 and 5 decisively with his help because he's been unstoppable up until the point of injury.
If he's not playing well, you can still pull him. Nothing's going to force you to play him the whole game. Like if he clearly...
There's more of a chance of further injury, but if he had like a few more days rest, then he might be in a better position to take you the rest of the way. I'm just saying.
Maybe, but for me, the kill shot is 3-0. Nobody comes back from that. That's the game you want to win to me. Like that, because if the Dallas wins game 3 and then you screw around and they win game 4, now you're in a series.
Well, the one thing we both agree on this one is it'll just depend on where he's at with it.
Yeah.
But if I have got a guy saying, it hurts, but I think I can do it. I'm like, no, you won't. No, I'm going to have you. Depending on the severity of it, I'd probably sit him down. I get what you're saying. Go for the kill shot, but I'd have enough confidence right now in these Celtics to play without him for one game.
All right. It was a 7-point
win the finals.
It was a 7-point game last game. And Kyrie did not play well. Kyrie wakes up and you play basketball the way you did last game, you're not winning. I just say, you know what? You've got
even better. Let Kyrie wake up for that game 3. Put him back to sleep again in game 4 and 5.
I don't want and I don't know. Maybe this is my philosophy on this a little bit different, but when
any other player, I would be on the same page. But Kristaps Porzingis is monumentally necessary for the Celtics to win the entirety of the finals. If he goes out in this next game and gets injured enough to where he's no longer available, that's worse for the Celtics than giving up game 3.
Yeah, but you're not guaranteed the win this game without him either. So
that's fine.
If he comes back and he's not 100%, say this is not something you can recover from in even a couple of games. I don't know. If the training staff clears him, I play him. I don't even worry about that. I don't want to overthink this. They're not chess pieces here as far as I'm concerned personally. I just think you got a chance to bury a team 3-0, you bury it.
Well, I agree 100%. But burying them 3-0 or hurting a guy who could make it a sweep. You know,
Restrict his minutes. I'm not saying just go out there and play him 48 minutes. But if he's already been coming off the bench, just let him come off the bench again.
When in doubt, don't. That would be my philosophy. With
If it were
Kristaps
any
Porzingis
other
right
series, I would say yes. The finals, nah.
No,
I'm
I
trying
hear
to
you.
I'm trying to
I
put the
hear
kill
you.
shot on, and so that's where I kind of feel the thing goes. But not that there isn't logic to what you're saying.
These finals are kind of like the presidential election. I don't even give a crap which one of these a-holes win. But whatever. All right, guys, that's 1 hour down and 2 to go. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Will Shakespeare here. Back in my day, I invented over 1,700 slang words like swagger, bedazzled, and my personal favorite, besmirch. But even I have trouble understanding slang words like yeet or bougie or
This is fire.
actually, it is extremely smooth Shakespeare vodka.
Okay, boomer.
See what I mean? But there is one word that describes the pure quadruple distilled spirit crafted from an 8th century Polish recipe the first time you try it.
So lit.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Shakespeare vodka. So lit.
Hey everybody, it's Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends at the Lund Mortgage Team. Did you know that the Lund Mortgage Team was founded back in 1999? That's right, they're celebrating 25 years in existence this year. And you know what you have to do to stay in business that long? You have to be good at what you do. And the Lund Mortgage Team is not just good, they are great. They have helped thousands of people save thousands of dollars over those 25 years here in the Valley of the Sun. They only lend in Arizona. And they're mortgage brokers, which means they can shop your rate around. They're not tied to just one set of rates. Mortgage rates can get crazy. They can get high. They can get low. There's good times to strike and there's times to stay on the sideline. Let the Lund Mortgage Team be your coach, be your team leader when it comes to these huge decisions. Call 623-875-9940. That's 623-875-9940, or you can always check them out at lundmortgage.com. Great website with all the tools you need. Call them today. They're my great friends, and you'll love them. It's the Lund Mortgage Team.
Will Shakespeare here. Back in my day, I invented over 1,700 slang words like swagger, bedazzled, and my personal favorite, besmirch. But even I have trouble understanding slang words like yeet or bougie or
This is fire.
actually, it is extremely smooth Shakespeare vodka.
Okay, boomer.
See what I mean? But there is one word that describes the pure quadruple distilled spirit crafted from an 8th century Polish recipe the first time you try it.
So lit.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Shakespeare vodka. So lit.
As we plan for our retirement, there are 4 questions we need to ask ourselves or our retirement planning advisor. How much? How long? How safe? And what cost? Let's start with how much. That is, how much income we think we'll need each and every year for the rest of our lives, including all the activities we want to enjoy during our retirement, like travel, recreation, and entertainment. Plus the cost of housing, including repair and maintenance, taxes, insurance, and utilities, as well as the cost of healthcare, including expenses not covered by Medicare.
Enjoy safe, secure lifetime income of 5 to 9% for life, depending on age and deferral period, with no fee deductions and no annuitizing. Guarantees rely on the financial strength of the insurer, so let's compare free in Scottsdale. For more, visit iqannuity.com, iqannuity.com, iqannuity.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien. Not alongside Randy White. He'll be back maybe tomorrow, for sure on Wednesday. Keon Rose is here. You are here. You're on the text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. I'm a little worried about this. Big George says he's got a youth question for Keon, the resident youth of the show.
I'm 34, but
He's
sure.
a Ute. He's a Ute.
Sure.
I think you and George might be the George. How old are you?
I think we're the same age.
He might be a couple of years older than you.
Okay, well, I'm not far enough away to be the youth. Well, any question you turn around and ask me, I don't know that much better than you.
To the Ute, he said, I was at the Padres Diamondbacks game on Saturday at Petco Park in San Diego, and they had something called the drip cam. What the hell is a drip? I thought it was a way to have your coffee, but apparently means something else. Help me be a bit more in touch with the Ute of America, Keon. I know what drip is.
Yeah, well,
something we don't have on this show. Okay, we're both wearing T-shirts. How much drip are we going to have in our T-shirts?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually more about like jewelry and stuff, but yeah.
Oh,
also,
I thought it was about the clothing.
It can be, but it's mostly about, you got necklaces and chains and all that.
Oh,
all that. So
if I have I have a wedding ring. Is this drip?
Is that drip? I don't think that anyone's ever called a wedding ring that. But
look, that's pretty nice.
I mean, it is nice. I'll give you that. It's nice.
Blurry, but it's got stones in it. It's got sapphires.
That's what they did to Kirk Cousins on that play.
Oh, they dripped him up.
There you go.
Is that what you dripped him up? No.
I've never heard that, but yeah.
So
look, man, I don't make rules.
How do you say it then?
I don't know. They dripped him out.
But don't tell me I'm wrong if you don't know.
I'm just telling you.
I said they dripped him up. What's the difference?
I've never heard anyone say up. You want to say it and sound weird? Say it. I don't. What do you want me to do about it?
Yeah, I can't help but sound weird.
What do you want me to do about it?
I can't help it.
I've never heard up. That's all I was telling you.
You've heard out.
I have.
So they dripped him. Okay. They dripped him out. They made him look like an idiot, is what they did.
I mean, but that was the point of the fun there, is that Kirk knew it was it was silly, and everybody else knew it was silly that he specifically had all of that on.
So George, when they had the drip cam, were they showing people with chains and with jewelry and stuff? Does drip include the stuff they put on their teeth, the grills?
The grills? I mean, yeah, that's part of it
drip?
too. That's part of it. Yeah.
Is that drip-ish? Drip adjacent?
That's part of the whole thing. It's the whole thing.
Drip-tastic? Can I say something's drip-tastic?
You really probably shouldn't. You can if you want to. Nobody says that.
Can I just say, if people are allowed to make up dumbass words, and they be like, no, that's slang. Why can't I make up words?
Well,
you're like, well, if you say it that way, you're going to sound weird. Well, maybe I'm the right one.
Then say it. The whole thing is that everybody agrees that this is how these things are said.
It's dripalicious. That is dripalicious.
You can say it if you want to.
I'm just saying dripalicious. Of course I can.
If you say that in a group of people who know what you're trying to say, they're laughing at you. That's all I'm trying to say. Now, if you don't care, say what you want. I don't make rules.
I don't care, but I want the rules.
We just sort of all kind of agree on how the stuff is said. It's not
the rules
verbal.
to bend in my direction.
Nobody sits down and has a meeting and goes, well, let's who's saying it like this? It just works out that way, and you either say it that way or you don't.
A lot of this new stuff is stupid, and I know that sounds like an old guy saying that, but I mean, come on, man. A lot of this new stuff really is dumb.
I find a lot of this stuff is stuff that I've heard like older Black people say ages ago, and then it just sort of leaked its way from hip hop largely into just popular culture, and then it just is being said everywhere.
Sure.
And I'm like,
you messed around and let white people hear you say it. That's
cool.
what it was.
Yeah, that's well, here we are.
Nobody's gonna ruin some fun slang quicker than a bunch of honkies.
Because once you see it on a jumbotron, you're just like,
right.
Well, that doesn't have
the drip cam.
It's not as cool as it used to be.
You got to get back to the meeting of black slang and say, all right, they screwed up another one. What do we got left? What do we have left?
Everybody was doing the dab, and then Hillary Clinton did it, and it just ceased to be cool the very second she thought to do it. And that's just the way it works sometimes.
You're gonna have to have a council of guys that come together. Like, we got to come up with the new stuff. They've already started to find out the old stuff, so we just gotta discontinue.
I've heard kids say stuff, and I'm like, man, do you even know what that means? You couldn't possibly know what that means. You
Mhm.
you didn't live in a place that would require you to know what those words mean. You heard that in a song.
Yeah. Yeah, you did not hear that because you're not on the street. You're on an Xbox. Okay?
Yeah,
you're not learning.
You're
this.
in a suburb. Like that's nobody that lives in a suburb, regardless of race, nobody that lives in a suburb says that because you wouldn't need to.
Yeah. Big George says, I wondered what happened to the kiss cam. Now they're doing the drip cam. I was confused what to do if they put the camera on me. Well, you have no drip, so they would not put the camera on you. It's not an issue. You're good.
The kiss cam is just I approve of the drip cam. The kiss cam can be incredibly awkward if they just see two people sitting next to each other and they're in fact not dating.
Brother and
Then it's
sister.
brother and sister, or just two friends, just two
Catholic priest and child. It can just go so bad in any direction.
Oh no. That's the worst direction it could
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I'll give you that as
But
well.
if I'm the
That's,
camera operator, I'm gonna find that shot.
Well, no, because you're
Just
trying to
get-
create chaos.
just to get the laugh from the crowd. I'm not saying I want the Catholic priest to make out with the kid, but if I put them on the kiss cam next to each other, that's getting a huge laugh, and I'm getting fired.
It'll be the last thing you ever do in that job.
It would be worth it just for that laugh. I'm telling you. That's why I can't ever work a regular job. I mean, I can, but they'd all be brief. All of my experiences would be brief. Big George says, okay, thanks. Makes sense. Jeffrey Keon, I was wondering why the guys were like flexing and lifting their chains. Now I get it. You don't see, why would you worry about that if you don't have chains, George?
I don't even think he knew that that's what was being asked for.
Moist One says, was the drip cam filming in the restrooms?
No, Moist One, it was not. You
The
know, it
drip
wasn't.
cam was filming in FedEx Field when the sewage pipe broke and splattered all those people on top of their heads.
And dropped sewage on paying customers.
Fifth letter says, a drip also occurs. Well, when you're playing with that. Okay, I'm not reading that.
That
took a second for it to show up. Moving on. Shooter McGavin says, didn't that used to be called bling? Yeah, but then honkies blew that one, and now they stop calling it bling. Why? The white people are onto us. All right. Drip.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it'll take them a few minutes to figure that out.
It's also ice at one point. I mean, just
I remember ice was diamonds. So
yeah,
you can't call anything ice. You can't call any chain that's ice unless it has diamonds on it, right?
I mean, yeah.
So let's see.
Largely, like it's not strict. It's not strict like that. It's there's some wiggle room there. If
well, I
if
wonder
the
what the next
collection
term
of the
would be.
things you're wearing includes a lot of diamonds, you could say you're iced out.
Yeah, but if it's just chains, like he was talking about, regular chains, there's no diamonds. You can't call it ice.
I wouldn't.
Right, because they'd be like, where? So yeah, Shooter McGavin, good point. Silver Pop says, Jeffrey, I liked all your recommendations for the word drip. I hereby proclaim Jeffrey O'Brien elected spokesman in all matters of drip. I do not think I'm qualified for that job. No, I mean, I like to make up words. I like to use words from like the 1800s and the 1900s, early 1900s. And I have odd references and phrases and stuff. People's like, I've never heard that. Just like blunder for Lost Toby. But yeah, hip slang maybe is not the direction I should go as far as being a spokesman. I don't know if I'm the right person for that. Big George says, I wonder what happened to the kiss cam. They still have it, George. I know he was sitting there at the game with his wife thinking this is the only way she's going to let me touch her after squirting out 2 kids in a row. She's like, you just keep your hands off me. Don't you touch me. Big George is 7 feet tall. And his wife is just like, no, I need a break. All right, so let's get back to some sports stuff. Adam Silver, he was talking, the whole Celtics Mavericks thing, and he's hanging out watching the games, and so people getting microphones in front of them because, they got some extra time. So they're like, hey, how about expansion there? What do you think of expansion? And he's like, oh, yeah. He says, yeah, we've got expansion. There's he listed off 3 different teams. Now, that's not meaning he's looking to expand to 3 cities, but he is thinking about it. And he says, it's not preordained that we're going to expand. He says, I've said it before. You got to look at dilution, potentially of talent, but there's so much great basketball being played around the world. I don't think there's any doubt over time this league could sustain 2 more teams. Oh my God, you're full of crap. You would put 2 more teams together to make the money tomorrow. I don't know what your holdup is there, Adam Silver. There's still enough talent, I think, to go around, but okay. But he says, here's the 3 cities. He says there's been some discussion about going back to Seattle potentially. Las Vegas, no doubt, is interested in a team, he says. Mexico City one day. What? Adam, just rewind back, because listen, Mexico City, going there and doing an exhibition game is one thing, but how long does it take to get to Mexico City on a plane? I've never looked that up. How long is the flight to Mexico City? Because that is what you're going to have to contend with. And then Mexico City from Phoenix is probably pretty quick. Maybe a couple hours, I guess. Then you have to figure out how far is it to New York? How far is it to Seattle? How far is it to Oklahoma City? And so forget about the Mexico City aspect. Let's just push that over to the side, and that'll be a discussion for another time. But Seattle and Las Vegas as 2 more teams makes 1,000,000% of sense. And for him to say we're not preordained that we'll expand, and he's worried about dilution, do you believe him? I think he would love to have 2 more teams and 2 more revenue sources. If the whole point of going to these other countries and having these exhibition games is trying to put the sport in front of more people, to get more eyes on it, to make more money, because the whole objective of the National Basketball Association is to make more money. Correct me if I'm wrong. I hear no one correcting.
It is.
Well, why the hell wouldn't he just pop open 2 more teams right now?
Well, because I think basically what he's saying is he wants to make sure that those teams have enough talent to be good. That you can't just have 2 teams. They have to be good teams. They have to be able to be competitive.
Okay. Do you think there's enough talent for them to be good?
I think there is now, and they've been tweaking the rules to try and stop super teams from coming together. That's basically if you end up being able to create a super team, it's going to cost you so much money, and it's going to be such a pain in the ass that you actually end up, you're almost better off just building a team around maybe 2 guys and some role players. So that has caused the talent to spread back out, where it was kind of bunching up on a handful of teams there for a while. So now you actually can probably do it without worrying about diluting the talent and all that. And of course, we've got so many international players that are coming into the league now. There's no way that between all the American-born players that are really good and all the international players that are really good, you don't have enough talent.
Okay, so George says he just checked flight time, Mexico City to Boston. And he says it's basically 6 hours. So if it's 6 hours to Boston, the important question is, how far is it from Phoenix or Houston or Miami? Because what you could do if you knew that people were going to play in Mexico is make sure that they have games in say Phoenix, Houston, or Miami, and they already do New Orleans. If they have that game, then the next series or whatever, the next game they play could be right after that. So it's not a 6-hour flight. It's just a couple hours of flight and then back. So basically you'd have like a 3-team road stretch. You go to one that's in the south part of the country, then you go to Mexico, then you come back, another one at the south part of the country, then you go back to your home. So there'd be a 3-game road streak to get you to Mexico and back. That'd be the only way it would make sense, because putting guys on a 6-hour flight to go play a game and then come back, Doesn't make sense for Boston, does it?
And they already kind of do that. Like if you're an East Coast team, usually you'll go on a California trip. You'll play the Warriors, the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Kings, usually in one go because they're in the same area. So instead of flying back and forth, you can just stay there and play those teams. Or, Houston, San Antonio, Dallas. You'll play those teams in a bunch. And if you could just throw Mexico City in there and maybe, Phoenix being a Southwest team too. Yeah, I mean, it could work.
I didn't take into a thought. Okay, but George, because Keon's busy. George, could you look up how long is a flight from Phoenix to Toronto? Because, if we have Boston to Mexico 6 hours, if Phoenix to Toronto is 6 hours, and Toronto being our one Canadian NBA team, now you sort of have to look at it like, well, okay.
Yeah, there are 4-hour flights from here to Toronto.
So it's a 3-hour, 15-minute flight time from Phoenix to Mexico City. It's not undoable.
Yeah.
And how long was the flight to Toronto?
4.5 hours.
Wow, that's closer than Mexico City for people up north. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some other issues. People will live in Canada, but they speak the same language. It's going to be harder for people to live in Mexico, and it makes it. I think it makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and it makes it probably more difficult. Say you make that team, it's tough to incentivize people to go play there. You're gonna have to make sure that people want to go play there. Toronto has always had trouble in the basketball sense, not just because of it's out of the country, but there's also some tax implications there. You get taxed for being in Canada, and then you still have to pay U.S. taxes on top of that.
So getting taxed a chunk of money to live in Canada and play in Canada, or getting taxed your head getting chopped off in Mexico.
So you're dealing with like the double tax if you're doing games out of Mexico, plus a language barrier, plus safety,
violence,
plus like there's
kidnapping.
There's levels to it, and that's the part where I'm like, I don't know. I know he wants to have another international team. You have to be 100% certain you could pull off Mexico City if that's where you want to go.
I just don't know how you can with the problems that they have. Mexico might be a beautiful place. They're beautiful people, nice and everything. It's just those cartels make you nervous. You're like, and the cartels in a lot of situations, they'll be like, okay, because we won't mess with the tourists. We won't mess with this. This is something that benefits, but that's just, there are no cartels in Canada. There is a maple syrup mafia.
Yeah,
I believe you not.
You were talking about that, and somebody said there was a documentary about it, which I've been meaning to get some time to sit down and watch.
You need to watch that
because I love crime
stunning,
stories.
But they're not going to mess with the Toronto Raptors basketball team.
Yeah,
if you have trees in your yard, you might get nervous. But if you just, I'm just not worried about the basketball players in Canada the way I'd be worried about the basketball players in Mexico City. So it's not a racist thing. It's just that's a scary ass country sometimes right now. I mean, currently,
Yeah, and I think
they
that's
still
part
have
of
travel warnings.
The math of making that work.
You ever seen a travel warning about going to Canada? No.
Bring a jacket.
That's it.
You maybe get a nice parka.
Yeah, it might get a little chilly here. Okay,
but yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, and that's part of everything. I'm sure they're trying to factor in, but I would not be my first choice for second international NBA team.
It's a shame. It is really a shame that Mexico is. Because man, that's such beautiful beaches, such amazing foods, just a great culture, and it's all sort of just ruined. You can't go. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, look at me. I'd be kidnapped immediately. There'd be a line of people waiting to kidnap me. The minute I show up there, I get to watch them all fight over me. I'm like, oh, I've never felt so wanted. Hefty Lefty says Mexico City is even higher than Flagstaff, 2,100 feet above Denver. Midweek January game on the heels of back-to-back would be insane. That's a good point.
Yeah.
What is Adam Silver talking about?
I still think that he's floating ideas out there. You float stuff out there. Like I had a friend who worked covering the White House and stuff with the Washington Post, and he would just say, like sometimes they'll say stuff and it'll just be a rumor and they just float it out there. And what they want to do is see how people react to it. And if people react well, okay, maybe you have something that you can create as a bill to make a law. I think Adam Silver is just floating the idea out there. Mexico City, Who says no? And if enough people are like, that's a horrible idea. Yeah, that was a dumb idea. Why? Who even said Mexico City? It wasn't me. That's what this almost feels like.
Well, I'll tell you what. Someday, the people of Mexico will take that country back from the cartels. But until then, hugely bad idea. That's all I'm going to say about that. Lost Toby says, basically, yes, there's a treaty where Americans don't get touched by the cartel. Then the cartel will kill their own if they hurt Americans or kill Americans. It's bad for business. Big part of why the USA turns a blind eye to cartel operations. I know for sure I'd rather travel to Mexico City than Detroit. Yeah. You speak the language, though, there, Lost Toby.
You might be able to talk yourself out of some trouble in Detroit. There's really not a whole lot. If you don't know Spanish, there's really not a whole lot you're doing in Mexico as far as getting yourself out of something.
I would be kidnapped the moment I tried to order in Spanish. Just that. I mean, the waiter would just put a bag on my head and I'd be taken out. Bat Flipper says, my brother hasn't been able to go to Mexico since he's been in the Navy since 2010 because that is blacklisted. Yes, they were told that there are areas they're not allowed to go, and that's one of them. It's a shame. Such a shame. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, let's shift gears. We'll talk some baseball stuff. Eventually, we're going to talk golf. We're going to talk horse racing. Got some man talk on the way as well. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play, from the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a walk-off grand slam or a base hit to center field, whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem or wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harmon Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmonsolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmonsolar.com.
Hi, I'm Ralph Romano.
And I'm Neil Lynch.
And we're the Weekend Warriors.
Ralph, I think we should change the name of our show.
To what?
Let's call it 30 Years Sports Talk Interview Fun Time.
What kind of name is that?
Well, we've been friends for over 30 years.
Yeah.
We talk about sports.
Sure.
We interview personalities from the Arizona sports scene.
Okay.
And we have fun.
Dude, are you done?
For now, yes.
Look, Neil, all this is true, but let's just stick to our regular name.
Okay, Ralph, but I think my name is better.
Anyways, it's the Weekend Warriors every Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Everybody behave. I think my mom's watching. Moist one, you might as well just sit this one out.
Just the whole rest of the show. Just we'll see you tomorrow, Moist one.
So Big George was saying that his biggest problem with a team being put into Mexico City, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, he says, like the other guy said, it's the altitude. Elevation is 7,349 feet above sea level. And he says that would be a big liability. Well, I mean, you can always, your body always adjusts. I mean, we play at a mile high in Denver. Is 2,000 more feet? I guess it would.
Yeah.
Does it, I mean, they play sports in Mexico City, don't they?
They do, but I don't know.
Is everybody wheezing and out of breath the entire time?
Well, I don't think so. I think if you're
But
there,
they live there, yeah.
you're used to it. You play it. But if you're playing, if you're, coming from, let's say Minnesota, and you're going to play in Mexico City and then go play somewhere else, and then at some point later in the season you return to Mexico City, like, are you going to be at a disadvantage?
You're gonna get the bends. That's what you're gonna get.
You're not going to get the chance to get used to it. You could have your worst games in Mexico City just on sheer I can't breathe right now.
I don't know what Adam Silver is thinking, but it's a bad idea. I mean, they play basketball at a mile high. I don't know. I go back and forth on this. And does it have to be Mexico City, or are there other cities in Mexico that maybe aren't at such high altitude?
Well, yeah.
I mean, fit the bill.
I'm sure that they're
the Tijuana,
which we'll probably have to do the math on that again.
Come for the basketball and the horse show. No,
that's oh boy.
No,
I think that's one of those two where the city is going to wind up being an extra member of the team. Like, that's what people say about Miami, is teams lose a lot of games in Miami the night before the game because they're going out in Miami.
Yep.
So, keeping your team focused and all of that, if you go to Tijuana or something, that's going to be tough.
That'd be good strategy. So, all right. So we had the Belmont Stakes horse race this weekend. Now, I'll remind you that my pick was Mystic Dan. Randy had Honor Marie. And then, Keon, you had Mind Frame.
I did.
So close.
Very close.
So close. It turned out Door Knock won the thing. Door Knock. Dumb name for a horse. I said this last week. It's just Door Knock. The damn thing won. Now, granted, we have absolutely no idea anything about horse racing.
Yeah,
we just picked based on the names. And, this time didn't go well for us. But, at least that for the Daily Blender, Keon, you got closest without going over.
I'll take it.
I don't know how you go over.
I don't know how you go over either if we're picking first.
Price is Right rules aren't working in this instance, but okay. But, so Door Knock won, Mind Frame placed, and Sierra Leone showed. And, Mystic Dan was in the back. Got 8th place. He won the Kentucky Derby, but I think that horse is just still hungover. A lot of partying after you win the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, it happens.
Honor Marie, he got 4th place. So, so much for that. I don't know if anybody won any money out there. I don't know if anybody actually bet on Door Knock.
I just bet on ours. So,
you lost everything.
If by everything you mean a few dollars, then yeah.
Yeah. Well, for the way we bet, everything. Brunswick guy says, "Hi there, Jeffrey's mom. This is such a good, wholesome family show here. All the time, I got my 8-year-old and 11-year-old listening. They learn a lot. Yeah, for the record, Mom, we tell them that it's a horrible idea and that he is a bad parent. Nobody's children should be listening to this show. That's all I'm going to say." Average Joe says, "No American professional athlete wants to raise a family in Mexico City." Well, this isn't, I'm not saying anything bad about Mexico City. I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about it other than it's their capital. Is it not a nice place? Maybe it's beautiful.
Maybe it's beautiful, but maybe you don't want, to raise your kids with the language barrier, knowing that you've got a contract and in 5 to 6 years you could be somewhere else. So now your kids are part of maybe a culture or custom they're not even going to be able to continue living in, because a few years later you're playing for the Knicks. You're in New York now. That's a different, completely different thing, and you're just adding another layer of that to it.
Well, and then Average Joe could be talking mostly about all the murder. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Lost Toby says Mexico City has the money and protection. He says, if you can order food in San Diego, you can be a tourist in Mexico. He says tourist areas in Mexico all speak English. So basically, it's been gentrified now. Lost Toby, you've seen what I look like. Outside of the fact that I've got the fanatic emoji on this hat, I look like an agent, and you know it. I would not last long. I cannot visit Mexico City. If I put an earbud in my ear, they're going to be like, take him now. It's just a bad idea for me. Lost Toby says, no, you'd be king. You'd be a king in Mexico. El Blender remote. I ain't falling for it, Lost Toby. I ain't falling for it. Slow Mo Zoe says, wasn't the owner of the horse that won a former Major League Baseball player? I got his name here. Hold on. I just didn't care. Jason Worth was his name.
Oh, wow.
Jason Worth. That rings a bell.
Yeah, he used to be a national.
Oh, okay. That's how you know him.
Yeah.
Big George says, sounds like Mystic Dan pulled a Lieutenant Diane. I'm not going there, George. He limped to the finish. I get it. That's probably 5 minutes. Get a whistle. Go ahead and just blow
Let's
the
go
whistle.
ahead and do that.
So
It's
I'm
one of
in
those
pain.
Mondays.
I'm in pain and I'm tired and I have a headache. And I try to convince my mom, oh, this is a funny show. Yeah, you should listen sometime. This is not that day, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And then George is going to come at me with that horrible pun.
We're usually better than this.
Ish.
I think.
Ish. So Scotty Scheffler won another one. He's won 5 tournaments this year.
He's rolling.
Yeah, just making money too. He's got $4 million from winning the Memorial here, and so now he's got $24 million, and the year is only half over. He broke the PGA Tour season earnings record with that $24 million, and he's the first player with 5 wins in the season overall since Justin Thomas back in 2016. So yeah, I mean, great. Okay, so Scheffler is just killing it, even though he's like, oh, people are talking about, oh, it's just amazing he's able to do this after all the stress he's been through. Okay, again, he put himself through that stress.
He at least played a part in it.
His decision is why he ended up in jail. That was his decision. He made a bad choice. You can say, this, that cop wasn't there. But he made a decision, and the stress is self-induced. You'll never convince me otherwise. So stop trying to make him into a hero victim. Oh, wow, it's amazing. He's won 5 tournaments with all the stress. He's been shut up. Just shut up.
Yeah, I mean, was he the victim of bad policing? He certainly was. Did he
the victim of a bad decision first?
Yeah.
Everything else that followed, yes, that cop was a douchebag, and that guy made bad decisions as well. But none of this would have happened had Scotty Scheffler not did what he did.
Yeah, I acknowledge that people do make mistakes. People do the wrong things sometimes.
But don't paint him out to be a hero victim.
And that's something I'm not willing to do. That's just what happened to Scotty Scheffler was bad. It also didn't fall out of the sky randomly. There was somebody who had a position of authority who told him what to do, and he decided that person was not important enough to listen to. That happened. Everything else shouldn't have happened, but that happened.
Ralph Has Crabs says, Scotty Scheffler is showing that doing time in the clink focuses you and keeps your eyes on the prize.
Okay, well, he did win some of these tournaments before being arrested too. So it's not because he got arrested, he's just locked in now.
Locked in, Scotty Scheffler in prison. Ralph Has Crabs. Sorry, this is not Ralph. It's just Ralph Has Crabs.
Yeah, different Ralph.
Donnie says, was a great Sunday for me. Oh, all right, let's take a look at his ticket. He bet Scotty Scheffler at plus 360. Put in 125. Donnie got himself 575.
Well, good for you, man.
That should start to put a dent in all the money you lost on the Timberwolves.
Oh my God.
Feels good. Just feels good.
When you're trolling the troll, sometimes
That's the thing. Gotta troll the troll.
It works out.
Donnie's like, why is everybody picking on me? Go read your own tweets. Go read your own text. Blissful Hayes says, if Adam Silver wants to expand the NBA, he could start by putting a professional team in Arizona. Oh, kiss my ass.
Who?
Officer Friendly, actual police officer, says, I agree. Scotty Scheffler is no hero. The real heroes are the ones fighting for our freedoms overseas in the Middle East. The troops are the real heroes. The troops, yes. And the doctor who gives birth to all of Nick Cannon's kids. Those are the two true heroes right there.
He's doing legendary work. Literally working overtime.
Just one busy doctor right there. By the way, Nick Cannon, I don't know why, he has taken out a $10 million insurance policy on his baby making bits to ensure, quote, the protection I need to keep this family tree going. First off, who in the hell is insuring his twig and berries? They need to shut that shop down.
Yeah, that seems like a bad idea. You're
How many kids? 12.
That's a bad parent.
12 kids in 12 years with 6 women.
That's a bad parent because there's no way you can spend time with all those kids.
He's not going to always have any money.
Those kids are to a degree winding up fatherless because if you had all 12 of those kids with one woman, at least they're all there with you. Over 6 different women, that you're not raising all of those kids, you bum. Stop. Just stop.
He says haters say it's time for me to stop having kids.
Correct.
And put this baby making prowess to rest, but I'm doubling down on these valuable parts and my future kids.
All 12 of those kids will resent you. Just keep going, I guess.
Tina Turner used to have her legs insured for $1 million. Mariah Carey has a $35 million policy on her legs and her voice. But Nick,
those things make them money. This does not make Nick Cannon
yours
money.
is draining you. Okay, bad choice of words. yours is taking all the money that you make on The Voice or whatever dumbass show you're on.
I actually don't know.
You can't be making any money doing stand-up because you are just not funny as a stand-up. So all your drumline and wild and out money is just going right out your stuff. Is he just trying to get attention?
He
Because
has
this
to
can't
be
be real.
because there's no way you can say with a straight face, got to make sure the family line is insured. No, I think you did that 12 times. You're good. You're absolutely good.
There's too many people. There's too many people on this planet already. And now, thanks to Nick Cannon, you'll have even more people in front of you as you're trying to get to work every morning.
And you just hope that none of those kids grow up and tries to be like him.
Oof.
That's a problem.
Oof. The Tom says, didn't Jennifer Lopez get her booty insured for like $27 million?
It was making her money at a certain point in her life.
Yeah, but how do you write that policy? How do you even, I mean,
hopefully while laughing, because I don't, what else are you supposed to do?
Nick Cannon, if you literally get $10 million if something happens to your baby making stuff, but I just have like somebody kick the living crap out of my crotch and collect the 10 million. Maybe this is part of that plan. This is the only way he can pay his child support is if somebody takes a good, swift, hard kick at his man stuff. Breaks it.
I'm just trying to understand what the purpose of insuring it would be. Like, even though it would be hilarious if J-Lo actually did get her butt insured, I can see how that would happen. That was making her money for a good long while. This is what is there to be insured? What is the value? because clearly he doesn't seem to value it. He's giving it to everybody that he sees.
Mhm.
So what's the value there? How does that work?
And how do you come up with 10 million? Is it just
who created the number there? Like what?
I'm gonna I got a headache already. I just need to stop thinking about this. We need to take a break. When we come back, let's talk about anything other than Nick Cannon. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harmon Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmonsolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmonsolar.com.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo, when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful DC turbo engine, well, we had more than enough time to see all the animals. Whoa! And outrun a few!
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now get the 2023 Nissan Rogue with best-in-class fuel economy among gas engines. Availability is limited. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. Auto Pacific segmentation, excluding hybrids and electric vehicles. 2023 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city 34 highway to 30 city 37 highway for 2023 Nissan Rogue. As shown, Nissan Rogue Platinum all-wheel drive, 28 city 34 highway. Actual mileage may vary.
Did you know Arizona workers may be entitled to earned paid sick time? Employees receive a minimum of 1 hour of sick time for every 30 hours worked, and employers are responsible for keeping track of those hours. Posters about paid sick time and minimum wage laws also need to be posted in every office. Get posters and learn more about the rules at azica.gov. That's azica.gov. This message is sponsored by the Industrial Commission of Arizona.
1580 The Fanatic.
Hey, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Well, we may as well do a little man talk since we've sort of drifted in that direction, talking about Nick Cannon for some dumb reason. Slow-Mo Zoe says maybe he's worried someone will Lorena Bobbitt his junk. Feel like that'd be probably in his best interest right now, to be honest.
And also like the guy that got originally bobbited, was a piece of crap. So like,
he's no bad guy.
Should be no reason for you to fear that unless you are not a good person.
Kiss the Cook says, Nick Cannon. Most of his money is going right down the hole. Okay. Let's talk about this guy. I want to talk about something positive. The world fastest is always a good thing to be, maybe not. World's fastest in the bedroom, not great. World's fastest on a racetrack, excellent. World fastest in an airplane or a rocket, that's amazing. But then I don't know about this. This is like, it starts out as like, wow, world fastest. But when you finish the sentence, it's not quite as impressive. Dylan Phillips, a British mechanic, broke a Guinness World Record for being the world fastest wheelbarrow. You see, and 52 miles an hour. he took his motorized wheelbarrow to 52.58 miles an hour, and there it is. It's, I guess you get some extra wheels, and I don't know if he's on a Segway or if the motor is in the wheelbarrow there, but I don't know if that makes him man of the day, but it kind of awesome. But then again, I just don't know what to do with this.
I mean, it's awesome in a way that I like, which is that he just did a very stupid thing because he wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted a wheelbarrow that went fast, so he made a wheelbarrow that went fast. I can respect that. Don't know if that gets you man of the day, but I can respect that.
He says, I ended up building a wheelbarrow for fun. In a practice run, I was messing around. I got 37 miles an hour. And then the question said, hey, what is the speed record? And so they checked it out, and they're like, oh, we can do that. And so he worked on it. He got himself a racing suit, and boom, there you go, 52 miles an hour. He says slowing down is actually the real issue. It's only got brakes at the front. He says, I'm probably lucky I didn't get hurt. He says, knock on wood, I never had any mishaps with this thing. It is uncomfortable. It does leave you aching after a couple of runs. There's no suspension. It just rattles you to bits.
Yeah,
this is nonsense, but it feels quite nice.
Yeah,
to have the record.
That's the guy. That's the kind of person I can respect. He wanted to make a fast wheelbarrow. He didn't think about any of the other logistics around it, and he made a real fast wheelbarrow.
This guy understands why I want a go-kart.
Yeah,
this guy gets it. And this mechanic made a dream come true. It's a wheelbarrow.
It's a wheelbarrow. Yeah.
Don't know if I'm going to get too excited about it. So, imagine having to go up to your new father-in-law and look him in the eye. So when you ask a girl to marry, you should talk to her dad if he's available and say, sir, can I have your daughter's hand in marriage? And a lot of times they're never, yes, boy, I think you're amazing. No, usually they give you the stink eye, and then they're like, you better take good care of her. They're not thrilled that you're there asking to take away their little girl and make that little girl your bride. So that they're always kind of squinting at you, kind of like, you're not good enough. But they'll generally say, okay, as long as you make her happy. Well, imagine having to see that same squinty, angry face after something like this. This young couple named Alex and Lydia Kessinger, they just got married in Utah. But Lydia got hurt. And they were moving into a new place, wanted to get their mattress there before the wedding night. So that they're not even married yet. So Alex tosses this mattress in the back of his truck and says, hey, listen, Lydia, just lie down on top of it to hold it down. You know where this goes. He's doing 50 when the mattress caught wind and flew out of the truck with Lydia still on top of it. And she ended up with some serious road rash, some on her lips and her chin. And right before her wedding, her arms and face got scraped up. She broke her front 2 teeth. And once she stopped skidding across the pavement, then she had to get up and dodge traffic, which was coming at her at about 70 miles an hour.
She's glad lucky to be alive. Yeah, I'm glad she's still here.
And much to my surprise, despite the injuries, she still went through with the wedding.
Wow. That's incredible, because at that point, if I were her, I would be thinking, am I marrying a colossal idiot?
Yeah.
Because
no, it's absolutely
he's supposed to have a better idea. He's the one with the truck. He's supposed to have a better idea of how things get held down in a truck.
How do you have a truck and don't have some straps? I got straps in mine.
I've never met anybody with a truck that doesn't have any.
A bit of rope, some straps, good with the little ratchet thing to tighten it down.
Was it impossible to get to a Home Depot? They've got them.
Be fun if he had some. And he was like, I didn't want to undo them. So Lydia, just lay on top of it. It'll be fine.
You almost got your wife killed prior to her becoming your wife.
If I were the dad, I would probably put a stop to it.
if I was every member of her family, it's just like, now
Man.
hold on, are you sure?
Them Mormons is some forgiving people.
I don't have that level of forgiveness. I'll tell you.
I can't believe she went through with it. Forget about the family, Lydia. Why?
That's the thing. It's just like you understand you're still marrying him. He's very dumb. Is he attractive or is he rich? Because
I saw the picture.
Not bright.
He's just a dopey looking white guy.
She
used to be more attractive. She's,
Lydia.
I saw a picture.
Is he loaded? Lydia, please say yes.
If he's loaded, he'd have rope.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Or he would have had it delivered.
That's also true. I don't know. I'm trying to think of good reasons. Because personally, to me, love can stand up to a lot of things. Not that, though. If you get me nearly killed in traffic and get my face destroyed, I don't know that it's going to.
Unless it was a fun ride. She was like, let's go again.
She could be that person. She could
After
be
the concussion, she probably was.
The bungee jumping, skydiving kind of person. Just
Beer Bob says, my father-in-law was happy when I asked for my wife's hand in marriage. He even gave me a bottle of tequila. He was trying to unload her. He's like,
I don't think she was his favorite.
Yeah. That tequila bottle said, she's been a lot of trouble for me.
She's your problem now. Thank you.
Good Lord. My daughter, I got to tell you, when she was first born, I was worried about, I got to have to chain her up in the attic. I'm going to have to protect her. And then, even as a little baby and as a toddler, I realized I'm going to end up apologizing to some boys in the future. I don't need to protect her. I need to warn them. Are you sure you know what you're doing? Are you sure? Do you have your affairs in order? Do you have insurance? Are you sure you want to date / then later marry my daughter? She's gonna hurt you. I'm gonna have to take calls. Stop crying. Stop crying. No, listen. And I'm not talking to my daughter. I'm talking to her boyfriends. Talking to her husbands. Stop crying. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna have to comfort a bunch of these idiots. I don't got to worry about my daughter. She ain't taking crap from nobody.
Somehow I think not.
So Average Joe says, did you guys see that history does in fact repeat itself? The Jazz rink where the new hockey team will play has 6,000 partial view seats, just like the old America West Arena did back in the day. Yep. Well, that town thought it was ready for hockey. Enjoy. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Men, we got to do a better job of cleaning up after ourselves because they did a thing. Well, so you know how we have Bill Nye, the science guy? Well, Australia has Dr. Carl, and he came out and said, listen, men got to do a better job because I'm outing you. If a man invites you over for dinner and wants to, hey, let's eat in front of the TV, bring some 409 with you because his coffee table is probably covered in poo. So here's what they say. If you buy a new pair of shoes and wear them for 3 months, there's a 93% chance you're going to have some fecal matter on them. Mostly dog poo from being outside, but it comes from other places like public restrooms. And as you know, men are grosser than women. We don't clean as much. So if we go home, we don't take our shoes off. We put our feet on the coffee table. We are more likely to put poo germs on our coffee table. Then you're like, hey, let's eat some food here on the coffee table. And then all of a sudden you're hands deep in poo germs.
Wow.
And this guy, Dr. Carl, cited a stat to illustrate the point. When 2 or more young men are living together without a woman around, 70% of their coffee table will have fecal contamination.
70%.
Because we don't care. We just walk in. We don't take off our shoes unless we're told to.
I take off my shoes.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Not all of us do.
Okay. Well,
I bet you will now.
Yeah.
I take off my shoes the minute I get home because the wife says so. So I wear flip-flops around the house.
Yeah. I have a pair of flip-flops for the house too. Just to kick off the shoes.
So
my problem is my shoes could just be located anywhere. It's when I remember to. So if I'm in the middle of the kitchen, there's just a pair of shoes in the middle of the kitchen. But I do not leave my shoes on at home. No.
yeah, don't eat at the coffee table until you've cleaned that thing off with some sort of 409 or Lysol or spray, whatever.
Something. Yeah. Windex. If you got the glass coffee table.
You want to hear something really disgusting?
Sure.
There's a new fad. Covering your Kit Kat candy bar with ketchup.
No. I disagree with the concept.
People are saying it's really good.
People are lying.
A lot of people are posting this online and their little videos and stuff.
People are lying. Or people don't have taste, which is also a thing I've encountered. I'm not.
People put ketchup on everything. Tacos, eggs, rice, pasta. I've seen them put it on popcorn.
None of those things are chocolate.
Don't we need to dip a little Kit Kat in just to taste test it?
You can. You let me know how it goes.
I feel like it's probably not going to be great, but I feel like it's worth trying. Has anybody tried this? Let me know. 888-368-1580. Rob Div says 73% of all statistics are made up. Yeah, well, 72% of all my statistics are absolutely true, Rob. You don't know anything.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every basket, every game, every point, every play, from the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a three-pointer at the buzzer to tie the game, or a player goes 2 for 2 at the foul line. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
So what did the doctor say?
He said I might need surgery.
Wow, it's that serious.
Well, we won't know for sure until I talk with the surgeon, but I'm lost. This is all new to me.
The decision to have surgery isn't easy, but neither is living with pain.
There is an alternative to surgery. At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach and can restore pain-free joint function so you can avoid surgery. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. We also help restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves both immediate physical symptoms and also improves cognition and emotional stability. So when traditional medicine suggests you need surgery, how about taking another approach? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
everybody. It's 5 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. He'll be back tomorrow or Wednesday at least. Keon Rose is in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580. As we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale, Average Joe wanted me to make sure to remind you that every hand you've ever shaken has either touched a penis or has touched a hand that has touched a penis. Thank you, Average Joe. Appreciate that. I'm looking at that and I'm thinking that, that could be wrong. That's not universal. Trying to think here. If you were born in a convent, okay, I'm working on this. If you were born in a convent and taken away from the mother immediately, so the mother's hands never touch your hands, and then you were brought up by nuns, then yes, you could avoid that context.
If you're brought up by nuns in a convent where that's all of the nuns that are there were babies that were taken away to the convent, then
they're nuns. Nuns don't go around touching penises.
Yeah, but if those nuns were born, you know what I mean? They were touched by somebody who touched one, and they would still fall into that same category. It would have to be a convent of people who had exactly that happen to them.
Kiss the Cook is still upset about the whole poo on the coffee table stats. He says, wait a second, what gas station bathroom are you walking into to have fecal matter on the bottom of your shoes? The hell are they doing in there? Pointing their asses at the toilet, cannon firing a brownie towards that thing? Stuff is in the air, Kiss the Cook. The molecules, the poo-poo particles, they all float around.
That's why you can smell them.
You don't have to take a dump on the floor to get the poo-poo particles on your shoes. Yeah.
Like what do you think it is that you are smelling when you smell that?
You got actual poo-poo particles going up in your nose, man.
Yeah, in your lungs. Every time.
I really want to change the subject now, I think.
Me too. I wish we hadn't gone that far, but we were proving a point.
I mean, we were busy talking about what hands are touching what penises.
That's true.
These are important things.
Your mom's not still listening to this.
Noah says, I was actually raised in Roman Catholic convent in Canada. The nuns were my mothers since my real mother abandoned me on their doorstep. Oh, Canadian nuns are totally touching penises, though. Sorry. Average Joe says, well, a nun touches a priest's hand. What do we just, there doesn't have to be a priest in every convent. This is my Swazman says, Jeffrey, I can't keep up with you. You're switching from topic to topic to topic. I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's almost like a blender of topics.
Huh. Sorry, Swazman. Let's talk about baseball. All right. So we're getting ready to play the Angels, not today, but tomorrow. And so that at least is a good chance to catch up on some games because the Angels are just god awful. They're a bad team right now. We're not a great team. We are a on our off again team. So looking at this whole series with the Padres, first game, all right, 4-3. It was close. Next game, Padres thumped us 10-3. Next game, we thumped them 13-1. Next game, they thump us 9-3. Sometimes we have offense, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we have pitching, sometimes we don't. We are just doing exactly the bare minimum of what Randy White has said we need to do. And that's where we're at right now. So it sure would be nice to have a few wins under our belt after we're done playing the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would also be nicer if the Padres and Giants lost a few games in that window because you're after all of that, you're still half a game behind the Giants and 1.5 behind the Padres. You're not really out of anything yet, but you know, I know we say it's a long season, but time's ticking. You got to get going. You got to have some kind of momentum moving forward. And it just doesn't seem like the Diamondbacks are able to get any.
Yeah, so we will probably lose the easy ones and we will win the hard ones. that is just the way the Diamondbacks have not just been this year, but in the last couple of seasons. Oh, look, we beat the Dodgers. Oh, look, the worst team in baseball gave us fits, the Mets. Or they're not the worst in baseball. Who's the worst in baseball right now? Is it the White Sox? Who's the worst? I can't remember who the worst is. The Orioles?
I believe the worst are the Chicago White Sox.
That's it.
Winners of just 17 games.
Dear God.
Everyone else is over 20.
Well, the Angels are not in a great shape themselves. But yeah.
No, the Angels are at the bottom of their division, the AL West. They're 25-40. They're 11 games out of first place in their division. Yeah, it's a disaster over there.
We can take nothing for granted. So the Angels will sweep us, and then we'll go whoop the Yankees or something. I don't know.
Who can say? The Diamondbacks are the most confusing team. The 2024 Diamondbacks, most confusing team I've ever watched in my life.
Last year, they were pretty confusing then, too, to be honest.
For very different reasons, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were sitting there like, oh, dear God. Wait, what? We're in the World Series. How did that happen? So the Major League Baseball Players Association, they're mad at Bad Bunny. That's a weird sentence to say out loud.
Yeah, it is.
MLBPA is mad at Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny is he's the Spanish singer guy, but he also has a sports agency. Because why not? Why wouldn't Bad Bunny, the rapper and singer in Spanish, also own his own sports agency? I'm not really understanding how those two things came together. Did he just make a bunch of money as a pop star and say, let's be an agent is he the agent, or is he just own the agency with the agent? Does Bad Bunny go and negotiate for you?
Would that be crazy? No, I think he owns the agency, and I think he's a big baseball fan. He's a big star internationally. So, being able to work with a sport I think that he loves, he got the opportunity to do that and he took it. I don't believe is doing the actual negotiating. No.
Well, he doesn't call his agency Bad Bunny Sports. It's Remus Sports. I believe that might be his last name.
I think so, but don't quote me on that. I don't really know anything about Bad Bunny outside of this.
Yeah, you could play his music and I wouldn't know it. But so here's the thing. Here's why he's in trouble with the Major League Baseball Players Association. They are saying, and of course, they've already filed a suit in Puerto Rico with a federal judge in Puerto Rico, saying that the Bad Bunny or Remus Sports, they were offering $200,000 interest-free loan to a player at the agency was trying to recruit as a client, and providing a $19,500 gift to another player who signed with the organization. Okay, let me ask you a few questions here because I don't understand. Why can't they offer a $200,000 interest-free loan to a player saying, hey, that they're trying to recruit? Why is that something wrong?
Well, let's see. What I have is that the MLBPA basically said that it opens up the door to bribery.
How do you bribe? I mean, you mean bribe them to come be your client?
To be your client, yeah. As opposed to on the merits of you being able to get them good deals, you're now just bribing them with stuff. And on the back end, you could probably settle them with pretty bad deals once you've gotten them in the door as your client. Like, you don't have to be good at representing people.
Since when is giving somebody a free toaster, against the rules? Why can't you give them a $200,000 interest-free loan? Why can't you give them a $20,000 gift?
Because
why can't you give them concert tickets to see Bad Bunny?
Because
why are concert tickets a big deal? How's that a thing?
The reason why, because they're using a kind of slippery slope argument of, like, if you allow this, how far do you allow that to go? Do you just allow agencies to just give players stuff to join on as a client? And does that mean that the players might be swayed by the gifts?
You're not allowed to take them to dinner?
And
are you allowed to take a potential client to dinner? Are you allowed to take them on vacation. I mean, the ways that salespeople and other people have wooed and schmoozed people in business in general, you're letting Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas take in $4 million over 10 years?
It's just wrong.
$4 million, and Bad Bunny can't let you come to his concert?
Yeah.
You're talking about a $20,000 gift for a $20 million client. You're talking about a $200,000 interest-free loan.
I wouldn't
not
blame-
gift, loan that this guy's going to pay you back later when you get him his $20 million contract or whatnot. This just seems kind of petty and dumb in the grand scheme of things.
The MLBPA is just afraid that the gifts are going to outweigh the actual representation, and then guys are going to get stuck in contracts that maybe aren't great because they went to an agency that helped them pay off a loan instead of saying, hey, we're just going to get you the best deals. And that's the MLBPA is heavily built on the idea because they're
business.
They're the only union in sports that is got more power than the ownership. I mean, the basketball's got a lot,
their
but
business who I hire as an agent and why.
It's not, but it is the business how those agents comport themselves since they're representing players that the union also represents. They're not saying that you can't be represented by Bad Bunny. They're saying if Bad Bunny wants you, he should get you on the merits of being able to actually get you good deals.
So Remus Sports, they said in court that their practices were being unfairly scrutinized in a discriminatory bias predetermined investigation intended to put their agency out of business. And so what they're basically saying is you guys are being racist.
I don't know if it falls under the definition of bribery and the rules in the MLB and MLBPA, handbooks say that that's bribery. It's bribery. Like you can say it's stupid and you can say it's dumb. If them's the rules and they are the rules, you got to follow the rules.
I would take this to court. I mean, they are taking it to court, so hopefully they'll fight it out. But
I just don't think
I don't
they're going
see
to win.
this as bribery. I don't see this at all.
The
as
rules
bribery.
say you can't do it, though. So, I mean, even if it's not bribery,
if it's a loan, is that a bribe or is that a loan?
If it's interest free, yes.
You still have to pay it back.
Yeah, but the part that you're avoiding is the
0.0000001% interest.
I'm pretty sure some judge is going to be like, yeah, you're now trying to get through a loophole. I don't know about that. Look, I'm not saying that it's
this is some nitpicking stuff, if you ask me.
Yeah, but if other agencies are following the rules and you're not, that's just not fair. Like I don't know. It feels like nitpicking, but the rules are the rules. They've been there the whole time. They're going to just change the rules because, oh, no, you know what? Bad Bunny said that was dumb. We should just let it go.
I want to sign with Remus Sports right now. Well, the reason is they've got a suite at the Phoenix Suns games.
Ooh.
They have a luxury suite.
He gave some Suns tickets out.
I would love to be a client of Bad Bunny. Clearly, I'm on his side already. Listen, this is, of all the corruption that you see out there, this doesn't seem like corruption. This seems like, hey, I'm trying to woo somebody. I'm doing what all the businessmen on the planet do to try to get people to sign with their ad agency or to do business with them and then buy their parts or do whatever the business of business is. None of this seems outside of the bounds of just trying to do business. And yeah, it's at a different probably price point because, $20,000 gift versus a $2,000 gift, or just, hey, let's all go out to dinner and I'll get you some girls or something, but aren't those so many other legal ways of trying to sweeten the deal? It's not bribery. It's a gift.
This according to the rules.
I know, according to the rules they wrote, but I'm saying I would want a court to challenge the validity of this.
I tend to agree, by the way. I think that you could get something really ugly if you have a bunch of big name sports agencies just trying to throw gifts at players, in addition to the way that players already have their asses kissed in this particular culture of things.
So
you're going to turn this into the Wild West of college football back before they even regulated anything.
So where's the limit then? Saying, okay, how about we agree that the certain ways of schmoozing doing is okay to a point. Maybe
Well-
not that $200,000 interest-free loan, but what's wrong with the $20,000 gift? Should it be a $2,000 gift? Is that okay?
I would have to look at the rules.
Who's
in
going
the-
to determine
in the violations?
the values
But if
that
they
go from schmoozing to bribery?
I think they have. So let me.
Because I mean, I just feel like you need. I think they should be allowed to do business in the same way that other businesses do business.
But if other agencies are following the rules that they've been given here, and you're not, you shouldn't be allowed to do your own thing.
Keon, don't get me wrong. If they're breaking the rules, they're breaking the rules, and they have to be held accountable. I'm not saying anything beyond that. I'm saying I think the rules need to be addressed. The rules need to get adjusted and addressed because it just seems kind of silly to limit these businesses from doing business the way other businesses do business. To put more restrictions on the sports agencies, I'm just saying the way things are done here in this country versus the way things are done with the MLBPA. The MLBPA's rules are oppressive, I think, in the way that business is done. You think an actor is there some sort of a rule that says you can't? Hey, I got you this watch. We'd really love to have you in part of CAA.
Well, it depends. Is there because I think acting is a really good example because acting has a union. What does that union think about it? Because that's really
get what you can while you can. That's what the SAG says.
Okay, then I don't know what to tell you.
Go get yours.
But I do think that baseball's players union trying to make sure that things don't become so wild and wacky that you have crooked sports agencies saying we'll throw you all of this stuff on the front end, and oops, actually all of our agents suck and can't get you good deals. That hurts all of the players collectively, which is what they're trying to push back on.
You can always quit your agent and get a new agent.
You can, but if he's already screwed you and you're signed to a bad deal, getting rid of your agent if you've got 6 years of a deal that sucks doesn't really help you. Doesn't get you a whole lot.
Yeah, but you got a $20,000 watch, so that's
so there's that. You do have that. Maybe he just screwed you out of millions, but you do have that $20,000 watch.
Well, there's bad agents, there's good agents. And that is just the waters you need to navigate. And if you're so dumb that you go with an agent based on a gift rather than the merit, that's a little bit on you.
It should be, but the union, it hurts them too. Like you being dumb and getting paid less than your value hurts the next guy who has similar numbers to you. So it might be on you, but the union is not doing this just for you. They're not like, that's because that's part of business too. Like they're not doing this just to protect you from you. They're doing this to protect the other guys from you too. Because
everybody's
bad deal
greedy
you
for
take,
your money, aren't they?
Well, because every bad deal that gets taken means that it's harder for somebody else to negotiate their value. You
I
can
love
screw
that
up the
there's the
market.
assumption of a bad agent and a bad deal just because they gave you a gift to get you in the door.
Well, it's not the assumption. They're saying it opens the door to that. They're not even saying that this is the bad agency. They're just saying they don't even want to start. And the reason why the Major League Baseball's Players Association is such a powerful sports union is precisely because they get out in front of things like this. They don't wait for it to be bad and then react. They act, and it might be a lot. It might be ridiculous. It might be harsh, but they do it, and it's worked for them so far.
Well, if the rules are the rules and the Bad Bunny and his agency broke those rules, then maybe you're right. Maybe they're just not good agents. Maybe they're not good agents, and maybe they should be shut down. I just hate an oppressive
or just
rule.
have that curtailed. Like they can
Yeah.
still be an agency. You just can't do that anymore.
The Tom says, just lock the MLBPA and Bad Bunny and Joe Pesci in a room. This will get fixed quick. You add Joe Pesci to any room, things are going to get fixed pretty quick. You may not like the way they're fixed. But they'll be fixed.
Somebody might be dead by the end of it, but it'll be fixed.
Ham Sandwich says, my White Sox are the worst team in the Major League Baseball, but they have the best milkshakes. Those Campfire milkshakes are worth going to a game.
Because if they didn't have that, they wouldn't have anything.
Yeah, those milkshakes bring all the boys to the yard. Swazman says, Jeffrey, are you still doing fantasy football blender league? Do I get a shot at Premier League? You know what? Of course, I'm sure we're doing it. I just haven't, I know it's just It's just barely June's was, man. Hang in there. Lost Toby says maybe Suns will scoop him up. Would fit well. Oh, the Warriors struggle with a good center, so let's release our center. Looney will likely be released by the Warriors. Is he that good?
He's a quality big man. Only
$3 million of Looney's $8 million salary is guaranteed until it fully locks in June 24th. So if they release him before that, then they don't have to pay it.
Yeah, basically, I think
we should go get that guy.
Kevin Looney's a really, really good player, but understand that that's not going to fix your big man problems. That's still
no, but just have another good center.
Yeah, it does make you deeper. He's a very competent player at the position. He's going to get rebounds. Yeah, you might be able to get him, especially if Golden State has to pay part of that contract. You might be able to get him on the vets minimum. I mean, I'd take a look. It genuinely could not hurt.
Big George is like, hey, don't jinx the Diamondbacks with the Angels are bad talk, Jeffrey. Angels just swept the Padres last week, and the Padres have a better record than we do. So wouldn't be surprised me if we lose this series to the Angels. You know what? I mean, again,
would it surprise anybody here?
How did I jinx them when I said they'll probably lose to the bad team and beat the good team? That's not a jinxing statement. That's just the Diamondbacks as we know them right now. Let's take a break. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Game 3 of the NBA Finals will be on Wednesday night, and the Dallas Mavericks find themselves in an 0-2 hole after they lose Game 2 in Boston, 105-96. Celtics taking both games at home. They were led by Drew Holiday. He had 26 points, and Jaylen Brown at 21. Luka Doncic with a triple-double in the loss for Dallas, who opened up as a 1.5-point favorite at home Wednesday night for Game 3. On the money line, Dallas minus 122. The Celtics plus 104 with an over-under of 213. Celtics are minus 950 to win the championship. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every goal, every game, every point, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a game-winning goal in the final seconds of overtime or a shot on goal in the first period, whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
You're expanding your business and need to add to your fleet. Maybe you need another semi-truck or trailer. Don't have the cash? I can help. I'm Dylan Cohen at JR Capital, and we offer no money down financing on new and used trucks and trailers. Whether you're an owner-operator or a fleet manager, I'll get the vehicles you need with a simple application and same-day approval. It's faster and easier than asking your banker. Call me, Dylan Cohen, at 602-834-7353. Or visit moneyradio.com and click on Finance with Dylan.
Screen time's over.
Be home by 11?
Put your phone down while we're eating.
When parents set boundaries, keep track of where their kids go, and talk to them about the dangers of underage drinking and drugs, they keep their kids safe. Visit TalkNowAZ.com. Be the influence. Talk early. Talk often. Talk now.
Thanks. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wagertainment world. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come alongside them. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself, Ken Barkley, and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona sports betting station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Dave Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. So Caitlin Clark will not be on the U.S. Olympic team for basketball. Reports are there were concerns with Team USA how Clark's millions of fans would react to what would likely be limited playing time on a stacked roster. Really? Kind of feel like just even if she was at the end of the bench there, people would be like, oh, it's nice to have her out there. Why aren't they letting her play very much? Well, because they're kicking ass. And okay.
Is that how she's being talked about right now? She struggled as a rookie, those first couple of games like everybody expected, and nobody was normal about that. Nothing about anything that happens to her has been discussed normally. Her not playing, her not making the team, first off, is not even surprising because like 15 people have to make that squad. I don't think she's one of the 15 best players in the WNBA yet. So there's that
at this moment. No.
And nobody's being normal about that right now. So like, were they going to be normal about her getting minimal playing time? Probably not.
Well, I say that
I think that's a bad reason.
Never been the concern. The concern should be, is she one of the top 15 right now? She's not? No. Okay. See you next year.
Yeah. I can't think of anybody that made the team who you'd kick off to put her on it.
They invited her to come out and work out for a training camp in April, but she couldn't because, well, I don't know. She was in the Final Four. So she didn't get a chance to work out with the team. I mean, if she'd had that chance to work out, then who knows? Maybe that could have gone different. But if Keon is telling me that there are 15 better WNBA players at this moment, someday she's going to be great.
Yeah.
But at this moment, then yeah, those are the girls who should go. You don't just drag her along because she's famous. You wait until she's ready, and that's appropriate.
And they've always gone towards veterans. Like if you look at other rookies who have come in the league and been really good, largely, almost every time, they'll take the good veteran player over the good rookie.
Adam Silver, they asked him, hey, but can I just ask, is he the commissioner of the WNBA too?
Yeah.
Oh, he's both?
I believe, because they're under the NBA umbrella.
I know they're under the umbrella, but yeah, I'd like to know, is he officially the commissioner of the WNBA? But he says, I'd only say for either NBA or WNBA, we didn't get a vote. He says USA basketball is separate.
Sorry, it's Kathy Engelbert.
He says it's hard to second guess that committee. There's enormous talent and it's deep. So he's saying the same thing you're saying, but well, he's not even the commissioner of the WNBA. They should be asking her. Don't ask Adam Silver. He's got busier things to worry about. Like, where's my turtle shell?
Where's my turtle shell? Mexico City. Are we still doing a team
cape?
there?
Where's my Nosferatu cape? I just something, just anything. So Caitlin Clark is cool with it. I mean, she's not cool with it, but she's cool with it. She's basically told her coach, she's like, yeah, well, they didn't let me on the team. She says, well, they woke a monster, because she basically saying, no, now she's like, okay, I'm going to try it and I'm going to work hard.
I just feel like losing back-to-back NCAA finals should have been that wake up, but sure, this can do it too. This is fine. This is fine. Yes.
Did she ever play less than? Her teams may not have won, but did she play less than?
No. But I'm saying like
the monster that was woke is her personal competitive spirit.
Yeah.
And she's saying the right things, basically.
Which is the other reason why you don't just give it to her, is because she's going to be hungrier in the future. And that is when you want her to be absolutely dialed in.
Her politically correct statement was, I'm excited for the girls on that team. I know it's the most competitive team in the world. I know it could have gone either way from me being on the team, not being on the team. Either way, I'm excited for them. I'm going to be rooting them on to win the gold. I was a kid who grew up watching the Olympics, so it'll be fun to watch them. But deep down inside, she's like, I should be there.
She wanted to be there.
Fair enough.
Which
I want that competitive spirit in my player.
There's so many things that you should want. Like for me, I want competitive play. I want a competitive league. I like physicality in basketball personally. I'm finding out right now that a lot of people apparently don't like that. News to me, because that was the biggest complaint that everybody had for the NBA for my entire life, is they don't play it as hard as they used to. And now there's a league that does that, and it seems like all of a sudden nobody wants the physical play anymore. I like that, but I also like when players get fired up and really get into things, and I think that that's going to be good for her to just be able to just lock in on trying to get your sea legs under you this WNBA season, and then next couple of years when you get rolling and they're going to choose the Olympic team, I bet you she's going to be on the team.
Take a moment with that. The people who want to say, we've made a lot of jokes about women's basketball on this show in the past, and I'm not telling you that I'm going to be watching right now, but we do have to at least say that it's a respectful game. It's not bad basketball like we used to think it was. And one of the biggest indicators is the ball I've watched these women play. They are playing it tougher than the men. They are playing tougher than the men, which shouldn't be surprising if you've ever seen a female softball game.
Again,
I'm not talking about the college girls. I'm talking about down at the park, and they are terrifying. Those women are terrifying.
Real hate.
Yes. That's so now you got these gals out here playing the WNBA. You're right. It is 1990s basketball. This is the kind of tough play that you're starting to see the NBA. Looks like it's kind of drifting back in that direction a little bit, doesn't it?
I think the NBA realized that if there's no defense that's allowed to be played, that's not good for ratings either. There does have to be a balance. And so they've let the officials allow players to play. You're not getting those ticky-tack calls all the time. And we're seeing it in this finals. The scores are lower than they've been. All the Celtics do is shoot threes. They scored 107 points. Or 105 for whatever it was. I
like it tougher. I like more contact. I like the way things are going. And then when you go back and you watch the WNBA, you start to kind of remember the old days. And you're like, like where people are going crazy about what Kennedy Carter did to Caitlin Clark, and it was wrong. She's wrong.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely a foul. It was absolutely a flagrant.
We've seen worse in the 90s.
Yeah, but I've seen video of Bill Laimbeer. Like I've seen just punching people in the face.
He should have been arrested 17 different times and never was. So Kennedy Carter, I think she's okay.
Yeah, like the hip check isn't the worst thing I've seen, not on a basketball court, in the WNBA.
And don't act like Caitlin didn't let her body go a little bit when she got that contact.
She did. And like you can go find it in college. Caitlin's got a little flop in there, which
There's
to me,
LeBron in that old flop there.
Which I'm not blaming her for that. Sell the call, get the call too.
Like fair. You can get into a flagrant, do it.
If you can help your team in any way.
How far can you slide, honey? We need to make this happen.
Get there and force her off the floor. Guess what? You're good now.
No, I do like it, and I hope for men's basketball to get back to being a little bit more physical too. I think that'll be nice. But everybody, one side or the other, we need to stop worrying so much about Caitlin Clark. Stop worrying about that.
She's gonna be okay.
She's not being targeted. They're not being racist. She's got a big mouth. She's there to play ball. They've got egos. They're there to play ball. Can there be a little bit of a little squinty look at her because she's famous? Like, what have you done? And all of a sudden, we've been here doing it all this time. Now suddenly they notice us because of this person. It's just the timing. It's just right place, right time. Caitlin Clark, and she's a really damn good player. And you're going to see her blossom into the player that deserves the attention that she got in the first place. But all of this is normal. All of this is regular. This is just the way it is. And what the best part about all this is now we're being educated to the fact women play some pretty good basketball.
which is what
when
I
did
wanted.
this game elevate? Be honest, because I don't even know if like 10 years ago they were this good. When did they start to get this good?
I would say about 10 years ago. I
10?
really
5.
I would say around 10. Like, to be honest, I mean 5 I think is when
I watched a female basketball game 10 years ago, and it was painful.
I've
tuned in back at that. Then I was like, oof.
Like it wasn't this good, but it wasn't a bad game. And I would say like around then it started to get that transition of like this is just a deep league. Like there's just a bunch of teams that are loaded and there are teams that are genuinely bad that also have good players on it, but somebody's got to lose. But I think around that 2015, 2016, Steph Curry started shooting all those threes and the game spaced out. Both sides, men and women. Men started shooting a lot more threes after that. And I think the women's game started doing that too. And once you got the spacing, the game visually started to look very good.
All right. So it's not just,
but then after that, you have to still grow the audience.
This good.
Yeah. And I mean, there have been great players throughout the history. It's just that nobody had a team that was that loaded until before, but there have been like great players all along the way. So it's hard for me to say like it was bad 10 years ago and then it got good. It's just like it's been gradual. So yeah.
The gradualness comes from girls in elementary school sticking with it, girls in junior high and high school playing, sticking with it, caring, working, and then girls in college, getting even better, sticking with it, and finding their way to the WNBA. And so just like we talk about how we need to do more outreach in baseball, somewhere along the line, somebody did some outreach for women's basketball and it worked.
And also that it got talented enough, because I remember watching women's college basketball back in the day, and that wasn't always good because it just felt like, is it going to be UConn again? Oh, it's UConn again. Cool. UConn's winning another title. And now you've got so much talent. There are schools that like I didn't even know they were good at basketball. Like TCU, they've got a good women's basketball team. What the hell? How did that happen?
Speaking of, did GCU have a women's basketball team?
They do.
Are they good?
They do. I honestly I don't know.
Because GCU is moving to they're in the WAC, but then the year after they're in the
West Coast Conference, the WCC.
Is it so? The whole school goes to the West Coast Conference, right? Not just the men.
Yeah, the whole school. I think there are going to be some sports that stay in the WAC that the WCC just doesn't have those sports. So those schools will still, or those programs or those teams will still be WAC teams. But basketball is going to go. Softball, baseball is going to go. Those sports are moving.
Just saying, we've not heard one word about GCU's female basketball team. I haven't heard one word about ASU's female basketball team.
ASU's team was down this past year, but there's some good players on that team. I actually went and saw them. In the middle of the season, they got beaten up by Stanford because Stanford was good, but yeah, no, like that team is they're kind of in the middle of a transition period of where they were pretty solid. And then they had their down year, so they're recruiting to get back up. So ASU's got a solid program over the years.
I knew Charlie Thurner-Torn. She had left, so I didn't know what the status was of that situation. Beer Bob says, did you guys see where Caitlin Clark was on Saturday Night Live? Michael Che always jokes about WNBA, and then they pulled up some of his jokes in front of her. She kind of gave it back to him, and it was pretty funny. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
I didn't see it, actually.
She was a little stiff reading the teleprompter cards, but
she hasn't been famous for that long, so
yeah.
I can understand that.
No, it was cute. It was cute. All right, got to take a break. We come back on this date in Big George's sports history. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
We all know driving hammered gets you nailed, but did you also know driving high is a DUI? I'm Officer Badalucco with the Gilbert Police Department. Anything that impairs your driving makes you dangerous on the road. If you feel different, you drive different, and driving high is illegal. Be smart with marijuana use. Get the facts at drivinghighaz.com and spread the word with #HighDUI. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
At Desert Wholesale Diamond, we pride ourselves on providing top-tier quality, unmatchable prices, and excellent service. I'm Diamond Dave, and my track record in the diamond industry dates back 4 generations. I've eliminated the traditional middlemen, providing you with direct access to wholesale markets.
I'm Jada Cantor, and we offer you the best diamond buying journey of your life. With 3 wholesale offices and a dedicated production team, we make it easy for you to buy diamonds at unbeatable wholesale prices.
Our 34 years of industry leadership proves our dedication, and we continue to lead the way in all areas, particularly in lab-grown diamonds.
Save yourself from paying retail. Experience the most pleasant diamond buying experience ever. Meet Diamond Dave and his team, who are all waiting to assist you with your wholesale diamond purchase.
Call Diamond Dave at 480-397-2450, 480-397-2450, or follow him on Instagram at Diamond Dave Cantor. That's at Diamond Dave, Kantor.
Will Shakespeare here. Back in my day, I invented over 1,700 slang words like swagger, bedazzled, and my personal favorite, besmirch. But even I have trouble understanding slang words like yeet or bougie or
this is fire.
Actually, it is extremely smooth Shakespeare vodka.
Okay, boomer.
See what I mean? But there is one word that describes the pure quadruple distilled spirit crafted from an 8th century Polish recipe the first time you try it.
So lit.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Shakespeare vodka. So lit.
Download our free sports app and stay up with all the latest sports news, scores, highlights, and more.
Or
stream us live anywhere
at 1580thefanatic.com.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, Arizona's home for sports.
Jackie Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. So one bit of advice from a 53-year-old man to everybody else is keep moving, keep exercising, keep working out, because me working on my pool pump this weekend should not have completely destroyed my physicality and taken me out. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've done a full body workout. The muscles in my legs and my thighs are burning, and I feel like, oh, I got to take some Tylenol and all that. I bet if I was in any kind of shape, that would have just been nothing. It would have been nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's my advice to the rest of you guys, you young people. Speaking of young people, Keon, you're 34, you said?
Yep.
Let me ask you, this it probably is not going to appeal to you, but there's a new upscale Caribbean restaurant in Missouri called Bliss, and they have an interesting policy. They've set an age restriction, which requires male guests to be at least 35 years old and women to be 30 during prime hours. Meaning, you're going to walk into a place, no men will be under 35, no women will be under 30. Then they card you at the door. If you're in your 20s, you're going to be kept out. I kind of like this.
I'm like, go on.
Because yeah, people in their 20s can be obnoxious a-holes. You know what I'm saying? But people in their 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and anything can be as well. The owner says they've been getting a little backlash. He says, but I don't care. We're sticking with this. And he says we're strict because young people have been trying to sneak in, by the way, and then post about it on social media. So he says, Bliss is just something for older people. Have a happy hour, get some food. Don't worry about some of the young folks who bring in the drama. And he says, we want to ensure a mature, sophisticated, safe dining environment for everybody.
I got no problem with that.
You can go until next year.
Sure. But I do like the idea, and it is Caribbean food, which I love.
Did I say so? If I say Caribbean, that's wrong. It's Caribbean.
I've heard it pronounced both ways.
Tomato, or am I sounding really dumb again?
No, tomato. Most people that I know from the Caribbean say Caribbean, but
Caribbean.
I mean,
And by the way, misery is the best way to pronounce that.
That's 100% correct.
Misery. So I just was kind of curious how you'd feel because you're right on the line. I kind of like it because, you get these. Well, they're idiots, and then I don't want to have to sit there and eat at my table and listen to the nonsense at the other table.
Sure.
And then you also have a bunch of people staring at their phones, the entire time, constantly on their damn phones.
Yeah.
Not like it shouldn't matter to me, but whatever.
I think it would be cool if there was also a place for people in their 20s to go too. It's
called the mall. There's a food court. Okay.
Yeah, but if you're in your 20s, like when you're in high school, the mall is, the pinnacle of everything. When you're 25, I don't know that the mall is the place you hang out anymore.
These days, the place a 25-year-old hangs out is in mom's basement.
Fair. It couldn't be me. I love my mom, but I can't.
You're not 25.
Well, I'm talking about when I was 25. Couldn't still be at the house at 25.
You are a millennial. You're not Gen Z. You're not Gen whatever. You're a millennial.
I turned 18 and I was like, see you guys later. I'll visit.
I kind of like this. I kind of like this idea, but what I don't understand is why 35 for men and 30 for women. I think it should be the same age.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
But I understand that girls mature faster than guys.
That's true. So if you're saying you just want to avoid the drama, then you could probably trust a woman at 30. Better you could trust a man at 30, maybe.
I have an even better idea. So here's what it is. My restaurant. Okay. You get there, right? And you have the line and they got the velvet rope and they take you into an open area. You're like, whoa, I thought I was going into a restaurant. Sir, first we need to have you sit in this simulator and show us that you know how to drive a stick shift. What? Yeah, get in there and there's you're going to drive down the street, around the corner in this simulator. It's a stick shift. If you can do that, you're manly enough to come into this place.
So how fun are all five of you having?
That's a good point. It's going to be
everybody drives automatic pretty much.
Quiet place, isn't it? I can drive a stick. The first,
I'm sure you can.
One of the first cars I had to drive was a stick.
You and the other 5 people in there gonna have a great time.
Maybe it's not a good restaurant plan. Maybe it's a good a club. We have a club. You have those big leather chairs. Like the clubs you see in the movies, like the Explorers Club, all the leather chairs and the globes and all the wood wall and everything. Maybe for my manly, the man card club or something, you have to be able to drive a stick. Can you drive a stick?
I have driven one once. It's been a while, but I didn't do bad.
Yeah, as long as you can handle it.
Yeah. And it's funny, it was my aunt's car. I was in Guyana. They drive on the other side of the road. That was a deeply confusing experience. But yeah, I got through it.
That is the biggest theft deterrent I can think of these days, is a manual transmission.
You break into the car and look at it and go, no.
So, and if I catch somebody trying to steal my catalytic converter, you know what I'm going to do? Nothing. I love the way a straight pipe sounds. I mean, go ahead. Just clean up after yourself, please. Big George says, that's right, Jeffrey. Keon and I are proud millennials. Are you proud of your generation?
I mean, I just think it's dumb to be proud of a generation. It's just like you're not collectively planning things with this group of people. It's like, no, we all have our own different experiences.
I'm a little proud of the Gen X generation I came from because we're badasses.
I mean,
we're badasses and we don't take no bleep from nobody. We drank out of the garden hose and we stayed out late. And because we had to, we were like, don't come home until the street light comes on. You know, we don't need you in the house. Go do something. And we're better off for it. The ones of us that survived. You know, we got in trouble. We built ramps. We did things.
I grew up like that too. So like I don't know.
Listen, I'm not saying
that's what I'm just saying. As far
everybody else sucks. I'm
as
just
the
saying our generation's awesome.
As far as the generation divides, like there's some bleed over into all of it. I don't know. I just find the generation wars to be not that interesting to me. I guess
that's the thing. There's no war. Gen X doesn't give a crap. We don't care what you think. We don't care what you do. All we know is we're badasses.
All I know is when I was growing up, high school, college, everyone was talking to me about how entitled and spoiled I was, and I'm like, am I? I don't know. And I also,
you're an outlier.
I grew up with a bunch of friends who have similar experiences. Like I don't know. So like. All I know is that generations have been complaining about the generations before them forever, going all the way back to the ancient Greeks. I just don't care enough.
All I know is the baby boomers were cool, and then their parents were real badasses. Gen X turned into being badasses because we weren't friends with our parents. They were parents to us, whether they were part of what we were doing or not. And then all of a sudden, my dumbass generation, who's badass generation, but we became too friendly with our kids. And then they became what you're seeing now. That was the biggest mistake that was ever made, is that my generation wanted to be cool and friends with our kids when our parents were parents to us. That is where the whole thing went wrong. It was our fault, but then we're also like, whatever, we don't care. We're Gen X, whatever, we don't care.
You gotta stick to your attitude. You've had it the whole time.
Yeah. So somebody else will fix this. We're good. Noah says it's damn British everywhere. Yeah, what? I don't understand where this is going.
Me neither.
Those damn British, he says. Oh, well, that's right. He's Canadian, so of course that's gonna be on his mind. He says, anywhere they've been, they make people drive on the left side of the road. Thank goodness we're in Canada. We took after America. We drive on the right side of the road. Well, the right side of the road doesn't make it the right side. It's just the side you drive on.
Yeah.
People from Guyana probably come here and be like, well, no. This is not a good idea.
Like my dad.
Yeah.
When he moved here, he was just like, what? And fortunately, he lived in New York. He didn't have to drive anywhere for a while. He could figure it out.
How long did it take him to get comfortable?
Not that long. He's a pretty brilliant
Well,
guy.
he was a smart guy. Yeah.
But still, it was still that
I'm sure
initial
he pulled
shock
out in the
of
traffic
just
a couple of times going the wrong way.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Only takes a couple of really scary moments to get it in your head. Mr. Wilbur says Moist One likes having his steak drip. Don't write Moist One jokes.
Yeah,
why
don't do it
that
for him. If he didn't think of it, what makes you think we want to hear it from anybody else?
All right, we better get this going before I forget. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for On This Date in Big George's sports history. Back to the year 1974, Mike Schmidt collected one of the longest singles in big league history when the umpires ruled the ball he hit that ricocheted off the public address speaker hanging 117 feet in the air and 329 feet from home plate. Well, they ruled it in play due to the ballpark's peculiar ground rules. Yeah, Rice University Mathematics looked at this hit, and they calculated this hit in the Astrodome would have gone 550 feet if that speaker hadn't have been in the way. And all he got out of it was a lousy single.
The most powerful single ever hit.
Ever recorded. 1974, Mike Schmidt just hit the crap out of it. Stupid speaker. Wow. But at least Rice University had his back. At least that's something. He's like, I'd rather have had the damn home run, be honest.
Yeah, but
that'd be nice.
That was never going to happen because the speaker was always going to be there. And you can't aim it. So, I mean,
how annoying would that be? Hell of a thing. Big George says, I feel like each subsequent generation is worse than the previous one. Remember the greatest generation, World War II veterans. They were badass. Then the baby boomers. They grew up in the 40s and 50s and 60s. Then Gen X with Jeffrey, millennials, Keon and I. And then their Gen Z is like Raven Kid, Wolf. See, here's the thing. The generations as a whole, you can give appropriate, stereotypical, critical thought to. But Keon and then like my kids, they weren't brought up like that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a friend to my personal kids. I kept that whole Generation X thing going, and my kids are going to eat your kids in the apocalypse. You know what I'm saying? My kids are going to be the survivors. Your kids will be dead. So, it's how you were brought up. Keon was brought up right. I was brought up right. Other kids, I don't know. And Raven Kid, even for Gen Z, yeah, I got the feeling he's got a little bit of that Generation X sort of vibe to him too. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he talks a lot of dumb crap, didn't we all? But his dad, I think his dad raised him right. So it's not your generation, it's how you're raised. And there's a collective amount of people in Gen X that raised their kids like they were friends. And there's a lot of kids in millennial generation that are screwing up the next generation. But there are pockets of good people everywhere. And that's the only thing we have left to hold on to. That's the only hope we have.
Yeah, I just try to judge everybody individually.
I'm 53 years old. I just need society to hang in there for another 20, maybe 30 years. And after that, my kids will be fine dealing with the apocalypse. That's all I need. Just hang
20.
in there another 20, at least 20, maybe 30.
Which is the most Gen X line of thinking.
Yeah.
Just
what about your kids?
I can survive.
My kids are going to thrive. Your kids are in trouble, though. All right, guys, that's it for us. We'll be back in your radios again tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.